channel, but Sean, Obi, and Brendan at the big desk, guys.
Hey guys, yeah, 2 o'clock as we get into the final couple hours here on what's turning out to be a pretty back and forth kind of a day. Yeah, we're holding on to some of the levels that we saw early on this morning, about 0.8 right across the board for the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. Russell, I saw, was kind of lagging a little bit today. This one, NRBO, 71.5%. If you missed it this morning, they are also jumping into the weight loss category. So NRBO on the NASDAQ having quite the day here, back to 5.5, 560 right now. More volume coming back in this afternoon for that one again, getting into the GLP-1 marketplace. Look at that green board right across the entire thing. Outside of banks, banks notably weak here. JP Morgan down better part of full percent at one point today, back to 0.75. BAC 2%, WFC leading the way there, 3% on the day. Downside, QCOM off earnings, notably weak here, 4.7 to the downside. Everything else in this space, though, in pretty good shape. Nicely positive for big tech, Meta, Microsoft, Google. We'll talk about Apple here, heading towards earnings for both of those, Meta and Apple tonight. Amazon as well, 1.3% there. Some of the consumer discretionary names having a pretty good day. Retailers as well across the board, positive on the day. Tesla back to flat here after a gap this morning as well. So let's get into a bit of a review here. I was going to mention Coinbase, 1.7%. There was a note they were raising fees, or actually, my apologies, cutting fees for high volume, quote unquote, high volume traders for anyone that's using Coinbase. So some discounts possibly coming through for you on that one. But yeah, that's how Apple's looking right now. It's been a very, very back and forth kind of a day, 185.50 up to 186.50, and that's about it for Apple ahead of earnings. But that was among what we were discussing in the pre-market if you were with us early on this morning. We started things off with Tesla on that Elon note. If you missed it yesterday, a Delaware court rejecting or blocking his $56 billion compensation. He then came out and ran a poll on Twitter, or X, as he will do. 86%, I think it was, support of him moving their incorporation then from for Tesla from Delaware to Texas, so that that court would not be an issue for them going forward. So Tesla's had a pretty flat day at this point, guys.
What's up, everybody? Yes, Tesla. Oh, Tesla Inc. I like that one. We actually had a great Tesla trade on. I always have to look over to make sure my mic is not muted because I'm always paranoid about that. Thank you, Ramin. You're the best. We had that 184 right there. We talked about that on the midday just as we went off air. It came through, right? 184. We take a 185. That's almost $2, 185.95. Actually, we only had 184.70. And then it went all the way to the 200 period moving average where we were too lazy, thought there was a chance for it to break. It didn't. It took at that point to 50, and we got out at 186.29. So we have it written down. Welcome back, everybody. It's on the sticky note. You'll probably hear me say that a couple times. 184. So that's the bottom. The bottom today is 184.28. What else? I mean, it's just, that's the trade. I like Tesla. I still think it can work. Right now, I'm focused on shorting the SMH, and we might have a good one here again. We were short here and lost, made it back there, and I'm working out. Well, we're still down. Working out with this trade right here. Hopefully, we can get back into these 80s or so area. As we're trying to fade, we had some good trades. We're probably going to talk about the chips at some point. We had some pretty good trades here on AMD, but we left it alone because I'm too scared of this name, man. All the way back to I don't know why I'm trading SMH when we had a great top right there on AMD. Probably 170 is just as good. But yeah, and then the other one, Obi, was Rivian, was another name that I wrote down 16 short. Where was the high today on Rivian? 1575. So this one didn't really get going. Its highest day was right, or its highest moment was right off the open. Yeah, shoot, man. See, we just got out of some SMH down there, which was pretty good, and then it just bounced back up. So it bounced just right now off 187.07, and no word of a lie, we're at 187.06. But I told you that always happens. So now we'll see if SMH can come back in a little bit. Watching out to get stopped out on the high of the day. My most recent trade here, SMH.
Yeah, what a wild move there. Oil got a little bit of a shake and bake, and I got myself involved in some XOM there off of that news. A little too early. I was looking for a little bit of a continuation on the move, so I started early. Yeah, I'm adding to a loser, but the reversion trade is a different kind of trade. And but you know what? You give it some room to work. It comes into VWAP. Retrospect, VWAP's the place to kind of be, I guess. So I get rid of the bad shares that I had initially right now, and then kind of coasting on some of the better entries in and around that 103 mark on this move that oil is having right now. So managed to kind of come out on top on this move. Didn't really catch this flush. I was looking at this 102 for a reversion back, and I missed this pop into the 102. And yeah, we kind of talk about like when I miss a trade that I really like, I start going a little bit degen here. So some of these entries definitely a little degen, but we finally get some size at the place that we want, which is in and around VWAP, and it does kind of reject VWAP plus that 103 plus a little bit of the opening range in and around that area. So I like it for some more, and it's coming back in right now at 102 halves potentially, but I'm probably going to be done with this trade soon enough. Sitting here for the past like 20, 30 minutes. I didn't even get up for a little bit of a break, but you know what? It is what it is. The trade is on, and yeah, XOM making some moves for sure with some catalysts going on there as well. But yeah, let us know in the chat what you guys have been trading. We're trying to extract as much as possible from these crazy moves.
All right, just watching Coinbase here. It just popped up in front of me again on the scanner. 130 just got broken there, I guess it was, but nice little reaction there anyway. If you missed it again, they're cutting fees for quote unquote high volume traders for anyone who has a Coinbase account. Apple back to the upside here, going into earnings. 186 coming into play once again. It's been the middle of the range really. This was the MKBHD reviewed the Vision Pro yesterday. That was out actually 2 days ago, and then the second one he did was out yesterday. Really interesting if you want to go watch it. One of the interesting parts to it was he was talking about the Vision Pro optimized apps that come with it out of the box, and quite frankly, there are very few. But you were mentioning this morning, there was that story, Apple came out and said there's going to be 600
by Friday.
Additional ones as of Friday. So February 2nd, they're going to be in stores as well on Feb 2. So yeah, $3,500 still is steep.
Yeah, it's real steep, Brendo. Yeah, let's get to it, because today I don't think it's going to be the Vision Pro that really makes or breaks Apple. It's going to be these iPhone sales projections, and we saw a couple of days ago that one analyst was really bearish about iPhone sales. Then you had Dan Ives go on last call 2 days ago and say his data doesn't show that. So we'll have to wait and see what we get there. With respect to Amazon, I want to see how much they increase in cloud, Brendo, and how much they incorporate AI with cloud. And Meta, we want to see what they do with digital ad sales. Big miss for Google. Does it apply to Meta? A
big monster recap show after 4 o'clock tonight with all of these to come, Sean.
Yeah, no pressure, no pressure. Yeah. That's good. We're born for this. No, Apple, look, we identified Apple earlier. I really like the trade for a short today. We had the short there. We did get blown out one time, and then we left it alone. That was right during that sort of bump. I don't know what happened. I'll show you later on. But we had boom, and then topped out, and then smacked right back into VWAP. So, I mean, it's too bad that we got stopped out there. But Apple's still an okay name for us here today. It doesn't surprise me that on the day of earnings, I guess, I mean, what do you call today? This is earnings, I guess.
Eve?
Earnings Eve? Yeah, good
Earnings
one.
Eve,
Okay, I like that. That's, I mean, Obi, come on. The word, there's some confluence there probably as well. But yeah, not much happening right there. I think you want to play highs and lows, and then you just want to wait for the report. We did have the Chinese analyst a couple weeks ago, or Monday, I think it was, maybe Monday or Tuesday, came out and was saying that he did some channel checks, and it looks like they're getting a little less support with the iPhone shipments, and Sharif and Brendan were mentioning that. So we'll just see if it's true. I don't know, man. You're under the 50 period here on Apple. I don't really know what to expect, but if I'm going to use sort of a bellwether name here, you know, there's the 200 down to 182, right? So I think Microsoft obviously is performing a little bit better over the last couple months than Apple. But this name pulled back pretty nice, you know, from 400, 410, 415, I guess, on the report, down to $4 bills. So if you look at how it traded yesterday, huge move back off the open. Then it just flushed the rest of the day until it eventually found a base. And then that base was just in the aftermarket down near smoke through 400, but then you come back day 2 and you just touched 408 again at some point here today. So Microsoft actually had a pretty good report, obviously, with Azure still going higher and higher. They talked a little bit about ATVI and what they're expecting from their gaming division. And then, of course, they didn't say as much about Copilot that I think a lot of people were looking for. But at the end of the day, if Microsoft and Apple are going to be similar, this name flushed down a little bit. Did you see that just flicker? Did anyone see that? No? Okay, just me. Hi. But anyways, I feel like Microsoft could pull back down something similar, or Apple. So yesterday, Microsoft was down 5-6% or so, and today you're back up a little bit. So net, give it a couple days. I'm not overly worried about Apple, to be honest with you. I just, I want to buy more. Watch out for that 180. I think we could lose that. And then I think it's a big time buy down here near 170. The phones aren't going anywhere. I really like the Apple Vision Pro, but I said about a little bit of a weak consumer for a minute. We just got more shares there on Micron. So now again, I'm chasing the net again here as we just shorted 90s and it just fell into 80s and we got a decent position. So let's start to get a little bit out here as we are overexposed to the chip names, short Google, Micron, and of course SMH, which is starting to head down as well.
Yeah, Apple got not too much to say. Again, earnings eve indeed. A bit of a sideways chop, right? Similar thing with Amazon, pretty much sideways. You had a really nice move off the open. I think off the open it gave you kind of a 155 halves into that 159. We kind of talk about they're a little bit of a selling sellers showing themselves here, right? After hours, intraday, and then. Third time's a charm, I guess, as they show up again at that 159, can't really hold it, and then comes right back in, but doesn't really get all the way to the bottom there. We are making relatively higher lows there going into earnings, but yeah, definitely some sideways action, indecisive on the day-to-day. Meta, similar story here, but yeah, I think everyone's just waiting for those earnings to come out.
Qualcomm ended up, I mean, there was a bit of a move at the open, but ends up being a bit of a flat trade. It was downside right out of the gate as soon as the market opened. We took out that pre-market low. Ends up holding 141, I guess, 140.75. But yeah, ugly day here on this guidance. Again, if you missed it this morning, we were touching on it in the first hour. They were pointing towards China specifically in their guidance, saying the demand coming from China not where they need it to be.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Heard with respect to iPhone demand in China, so that kind of goes hand in hand with that. Look, guys, it was a beat on the top and bottom line. Net income especially grew 24% year over year. Like Brendo mentioned, though, it was the guide. The street was looking for 9.3. They guided between 8.9 to 9.5. The main headline here, though, is they've extended the deal with Apple to provide them with chips into March of 2027.
I didn't mention it earlier, but just be aware, we've had another huge monster day down on longer-term yields. Once again, Frank Caberno's coming up in about 30 minutes to give us a recap of what happened yesterday with the Fed. Some of these cuts being pushed out as far as the date is concerned, but 4.1 now on the 30-year. Huge move down again across the board, though, for yields today.
All right, we're just talking about, you want to look at your XOM trade or?
No, I mean, it's kind of doing its own thing. I'm
all right,
not
good.
Really too concerned.
So good call over there on XOM, and we were just talking about how you always get out a little bit too early out of all of the trades, and that's, I was just telling Obi, that's like trader's dilemma. Like, look at Micron. It came down, it was in the 80s, like we had it's just because, again, we got filled our full default or whatever that we wanted, and all of a sudden it was 10 cents, and then boom, I take it out, and then it goes another 15 cents. But that's trading. SMH, same story there. We fell back in, and we took some more out there. So we didn't get the reload for SMH, which is kind of strange, because I feel like we should have up there, but we didn't. So we'll wait for another move. Look, we nailed that Qualcomm 140 level earlier today, and that's been the bottom, as far as I know, all day. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Randy. I like the double Randy action.
Double Randy.
Hey, I'm going to the, cheers. I'm going to the NHL All-Star Draft tonight at Scotiabank. There's also 3-on-3 contest. I figured you might appreciate that. I don't know. Both my kids have hockey games the next couple of days, so I have to miss the All-Star contest, skills contest. Yeah, it's Hockey Central over here. Thank you, Randy. That was awesome. Okay, just real quick, I would love to talk to Randy, but we are starting to get a little bit of movement downside here for some of the positions that we have. And I mean, I know we'll obviously, I'm just going to punch out again. I'm getting, you know, all of the lights again. Oh, by the way, Kanye showed up to Travis Scott's concert yesterday. Apparently, it was, as the young kids say, lit.
Okay, all right.
Nobody says that? Okay, my bad.
Ramin saying nobody says that anymore?
My bad. My bad.
Ramin is saying that's cap.
Yeah.
Basically.
Oh, the other day when I was driving, all of this. I thought we got oh, just a lot of bangs. No more bangs. I thought we classified where the age group of boomers. Didn't we get that? I don't think we are in that group. I thought we.
Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. But anyways, I was in the car with my 11-year-old, now 12-year-old son and 2 or 3 of his friends, and we were driving to the Mandarin, and I said something, or someone said something, and I go, no, that's cap to all of them. And my son is like, what the hell, Dad? Like, never speak again, basically. And I was like, all right, so that means I know I said something probably pretty cool.
Yeah. So what was it? They all started, like, they burst
they
out in
laughed.
laughter?
I'm trying to act, you know, I'm that dad that tries to be like, oh, I'm the cool dad, but really I'm an idiot, like you guys can see here on the show. So that's basically what it was like. Like, I'm not trying to pull punches. This is what I'm trying to, you know, anyways. You got to enjoy your kids. And I said that on purpose and all that. And then they started saying all these other things, and I was like, okay, now it just sounds
you lost
like
me.
not proper English or anything, period, anyways. So I thought that was pretty funny. So anyways, my bad for talking about Travis Scott and Kanye and all that kind of stuff and it being lit. But okay, Qualcomm. So we went over 140. We talked about the 50-period moving average. Look, I like the chip names, but that's another report, again, that sends it to the downside. Yesterday, we had AMD fall down on their report, and then look what happens today. It's the same story with Microsoft. It's the same story with Google. Day 2 plays. They're right back in the pocket. So we're going to be talking all about this on the podcast. Yeah, I know you're talking about Disney over there. Let's go Disney right now. We'll talk about that in a couple minutes. But I feel like there's a big expectation heading into all of the earnings. And when it doesn't blow your absolute brains out, then you sell it. So Qualcomm today, I don't think the report was that bad. They got that extra deal extended with Apple into 2027. They got a new deal with Samsung. I said Qualcomm's probably a buy down here at 140. So there it is today, 140. You could have bought it if you did, good. If you didn't, good. Here's SMH trying to make its move back up. We got out of half of it down here around the 50-period moving average. So far, so good there. Micron continues to hold out a little bit lower. So I like this name as well. Micron was one of the early reporting names in the cycle, I believe. Yeah. So they don't report for a heck of a long time, man. March 28th. So forget about Micron. We don't have to worry about any earnings for them. And you've seen here on the daily, they're kind of hovering around as well. We can get a little bit of a break lower into low 80s for MU. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be, you know, entertaining and have a good time here and everything like that. I hope you guys had a good one. Oh, and SMCI is also a meme stock. So shout out to everybody there who's talking about SMCI. This is a meme stock. This is not an organized method of trading here. It should not be up 85% in a week and a half, but it is. SMCI continues to go upside. All I can tell traders is that if I had profits in SMCI right now and it was doing something like this, I would be immediately getting out and just putting it, half of it or something. If you believe in the chip sector, go over to SOXL, go over to SOX, go over to SMH, figure that trade out. I just think that whenever you get this is fantastic. Fantastic move in SMCI. I just think that you take those profits, roll them into something a little more stable, that's all. But yeah, congratulations, man. SMCI continues to be a monster. Thanks for bringing that up, Sharif. You mentioned 85% in just a week and a half. So that's pretty crazy. I mean, what are they doing? Selling chips to Mars or something right now? Or maybe they figured out that mining of the asteroids.
They had a bit of a well, not the same magnitude, but they had a bit of an NVIDIA moment with their expectations and kind of with their guidance, right? They're like, okay, we're gonna be making some money off of this stuff, and they're kind of kind of what is it, backlogged on demand as well. But yeah, Qualcomm pretty much sideways, very muted, nothing much to say here. Flushes off the open, and I think not even off the open. This happens pre-market here. This is a 15-minute chart. So yeah, a lot of the flush kind of comes in on the pre-market, and we've only been going sideways since. A bit of an inside bar on Qualcomm there. So not much to say.
Ford, just be aware, Ford popping up here. Morgan Stanley has named Ford a top pick, quote unquote. So, yeah. Okay. Morgan Stanley's long Ford apparently and looking for a little bit of a move.
Okay.
That was kind of out of nowhere, but decent volume behind that. Anyways, let's talk about EV makers, specifically Chinese EV makers. There was a decent gap for all of these this morning. It was once again, I was going to go back over lunch. I didn't get a chance, but I want to go back over the past few months of these delivery numbers and see, because I feel like it's at least 3, if not 4 in a row that it's been Li Auto with the biggest number here.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, I'm not in this anymore, guys, so no conflict. But Li Auto, aside from BYD, obviously, BYD is the king of EVs in China. Followed second, well, I'd say Li Auto. Guys, they're looking at delivering about 800,000 vehicles in calendar year 2024. They've delivered 664,000 vehicles year to date from beginning to end. So that's from the beginning of the inception. With respect to January deliveries, they delivered about 31,165 vehicles. That's a 106% year-over-year increase. They continue to grow, Brendo, and they're going to have 5 new models this year. Some of them battery, exclusively battery, and some of them hybrids.
And we were reminded of the state of China and EV production from Elon in the earnings call, saying that if some sort of regulation wasn't put into place to slow this down, that they were all going to lose as far as North American EV makers. But here's Ford anyways, guys, trying to get to $12 right now.
I was going to say top idea. Is it a top idea? That's interesting. I'd like to hear that report and read that note, and I'm sure we will, because I own Ford. And it's funny because we just had the man, the myth, the legend himself, Randy, here. We could talk to him maybe a little bit about Ford. He hates Ford. And the reason why is because of all the I'll just tell you what it is. He does. I just hear Sharif laughing, but he does hate Ford. Randy does not like this. He does not like all the recalls. I don't want to speak for him. Let's just talk about the technicals here. I think that this $11 level, we always say get that garbage out of here. And what I mean by that is, like, when you have a bad story, like this was probably their last report. I'd have to go back and look, October 26th. I wish we had a little earnings marker here, honestly, but there's the story to the downside, right? You make that bottom at 10, that's pretty nasty, but then you overtake and hold this bottom right here. So like you overtook 11, you came, huge move back up, right? I don't think those wicks to 13 are probably real, but huge move back up into 1280. Oh, we are cranking right now. This is the problem when you're trading real shares and live. We now have a nice move down in the SMH. There it goes. We just got a pretty sweet fill right there on that move down. We just got 187.05 there or something like that. We got 187.11, my bad. I do have a 187.07 fill that did not happen. So we're going to wait to see if we get something else down there for SMH. And then also, man, Micron is starting to get low as well. Get low right now. So here we go. Look at Micron. I laughed when Brendan... Forget about Chinese EV deliveries. Maybe we'll talk about that after. Okay.
All right.
Unless you want to.
No, you're good.
No, you can if you want to. I just, my positions.
Yes.
So the thing is like, I laughed when Brendan said Coinbase is changing the fees for high frequency trading. Because I looked over, I have 400 fills today. Are they giving rebates at Coinbase or what? Because maybe I got to get over there. But anyway, this is a perfect example. How many fills on Micron? You asked, Obi? Which you didn't, but I'll tell you.
How many?
80.
Wow.
80 alone since noon. But the thing is...
That's a beautiful chart.
It's a beautiful chart, but ridiculous executions. The thing is that, right, when you get out at the 50 period, like, I think they're fine. We have this one VWAP push. But the thing is, like, if I don't start taking these out here, then when it comes back up, then I'm still holding whatever's left from there. So I feel like I'm comfortable trading like this. So anyways, that's that trading. Anyway, okay, back to Ford. We can talk about China, which we will in a second. But I don't mind Ford on the daily here. Let's see, that's the 200 period moving average. You need to break through 1280. And I guarantee you one thing. I'll guarantee a lot of things. But when I come in here one day and we get a catalyst and this thing is anywhere near 13, I am breaking this long with hopefully a decent amount of shares. Because I think that once you get above 13, then remember we said get this garbage out of here, then you're getting this out of here and you're starting a new level higher. So we'll hear if Goldman Sachs or whoever that was is going to be right. Whenever I think about it, I always leave Li Auto to Sharif because he talks about Li Auto. I don't ever trade that. I more trade XPeng or NEO. My preference is, and by the way, where's Reliable Rudy? We bought some Alibaba today. All right, let's move on. All right, so right there. Nice move down for NEO. If this is not a dead stock, then you show me one. This just continues to make moves down. This was 950 on January 1st. So it's Feb 1st. So what a month they had. Down almost 35% or more. 950 down to 550. I mean, this stock down 40%. I was going to say 40 points, but, you know, all the way down, making new lows. This is a dead stock. I'm shorting any pops on NIO, but it won't happen today. We should have shorted it earlier on. This is why you got to get out, man. Like when stocks move down like this, especially ETFs like SMH. Look how many free trading on SMH would be nice as well. But anyways, that was a good fill. That's why you need those. So that's why I panic and go over and take those when they do hit. But yeah, thanks for everything. Anything on Li Auto or any Chinese names?
I looked at, so the first thing I pulled up was Tesla, of course, kind of the EV leader. Not really, kind of sideways there. Not really, hasn't really done too much other than a strong dip off the open and then a reclaim. But we're pretty much well within the opening range, or we've entered back into the opening range. But Li Auto, an interesting hold of VWAP for majority of the day. You can see a strong push, and look at these strong wicks in the morning session, and then it gives you it a couple more times with a nice steady grind on top of VWAP here, giving you about a 10 penny churn. And then now we're kind of coming down as of, what is this, 210-ish. This is a 5-minute chart, so as of around 210, we have kind of broken down. We're breaking back down here. So right away, look at all this volume that's been done in that morning action, and then the chop has barely anything, and we're coming in to test some of those levels right now. So I think that's definitely interesting to me. I'm not really, I guess I'm not really forming any trades on it. I am watching just that XOM, Sean. But yeah, LI, kind of the only one in the names that looked a little bit interesting. NEO holding below VWAP, but pretty much sideways here. Nothing too crazy. Let's take a quick look at our friend Lucid as well. I know this thing's been kind of catching a little bit of a bid as of late, breaking previous. I mean, this thing's been trending down for quite a while. But yeah, potential a little bit of a bid on top of this $2.5, $3. Wow, this thing used to be. Remember, this thing at one point was at 50, 60 bucks.
Which one?
Oh,
Lucid?
Yeah.
Did you see what Rivian? Well, okay.
Yeah, Rivian was probably the most beautiful swing short there was. Right, Rivian 160s. I think 180s was the IPO price roughly, if I remember correctly. Yep. Yeah, it slapped up to 180s on the second week, and then we've just been straight fading since then on Rivian there. But yeah, solid long term
fade. Just a straight fade. Yeah. All right, so
you visit the barber and he gives you a.
I wanted to go today at lunch, but he's not in. So yeah, Frank Caberna is scheduled to come on. So I saw some people out talking in the chat if Frank was here today, and he is. So, well, he's not here yet, but 2:45 will be Mr. Frank Caberna, and what a good day to have him come on. I mean, we just had Fed yesterday, and then we had to complete what I feel, I don't think it was a change of course by the Fed, but definitely an opinion change on what is expected, especially for March, as it was favoring a cut. And now, I mean, we can check it out when we'll do that. We'll check the CME Fed rate 2.0 out when we come back, and then we won't spoil it, but that's probably what Frank will be talking about. Let's go back over to the desk.
Yeah, Frank coming up here about 15 minutes. We'll also touch on, remember, non-farm payrolls coming up tomorrow morning and what that's going to mean as well. But in the meantime, rundown, as always, brought to you by Trade Ideas. If you haven't done so, take advantage of 20% off right now. Bottom right corner, Trader TV 20. Go grab your copy of Trade Ideas.
So I thought I would check back, thanks Brendo. I thought I would check back here and this would be much more. This morning I thought it was 64 or 65 when we showed it. Now it's 61. So, you know, and again, this is why Frank's coming through. You know, they're supposed to be and will be data dependent. So like if the payrolls number is for somehow weaker than expected, then I could see maybe, okay, I don't know, if jobs are not coming through as much. Maybe it is time to do something with the rates. Like, I don't know. We're going to hear what Frank's opinion is. I'm just surprised at where we were. 1 month ago, you could see, here it is right here. We were 73%. So this goes, can you come over to the screen, Ramin, just quickly here for a second? You could see December, it was 73, right? 1 week ago, 48. Now you're down to 38. So things have definitely changed there. Stay tuned for another 15 minutes. And Frank will be there immediately. We do have a new social media team working. I don't have the thing there, but if you guys follow at Trader TV, doesn't matter. Go follow it. Look, I don't even want to show it on the stream because I want people to go and follow it and see it themselves. Right? Let us know right here in the chat or on the comments or whatever what you think. On new social media, we're trying to reach more people and get this show popping. So what everybody could do is
like and subscribe today.
And then go find our socials at Trader TV, Sean, Brendan, Neil, not Obi. We could get you a social, but I don't know. All that kind of fun stuff. Hit us up. Let us know. I tweet out probably a lot of times a day. And we'll also tweet out the market recap. And also, go find me on LinkedIn, man. I'm posting a bunch of stuff on LinkedIn now as well. So go find me over there if you want to get in touch. That's a good messaging platform. And we'll go back and forth there with LinkedIn. So yeah,
exciting stuff.
Yeah, it should be fun, and there should be lots of stuff to do. So go over there, have a fun check if you're on socials at all, and that should be a good experience for everybody, I hope. Anyways, so all right, just quickly, Micron's still doing the dance, man. Yeah, it has pants on right here, Sharif, so don't get too excited. 85.57. If we can pull down here, maybe Micron would be something that could continue to fall. But if we hit to the 200 period, that would be great. So right now we are out of a little bit of this. We'll see if we can get out of a little bit more as we still have. The thing is, I'm getting so many new shares all the time. I don't even know what I started with. So it's hard for me to tell you how many shares I'm in or out of right now on this name. But right here we have still a decent position. I would say we probably have about 40% of what we initially had. So that's that. So we'll continue on there. People may be wondering about Google. Google has been my number one name today. And I know you've only traded a couple names, but I've traded about 7 or 8 or so. This is the fun stuff. I mean, you get a move up there. I didn't even participate in this wick, so we weren't in that. We were in the next one. So we saw 143 high, so we started shorting 142.60 back into 142. Wow, SMH is getting low. This is good. Let's go Micron back down right now. But anyways, we shorted that against that wick. So I'm really proud of this because we didn't scalp it out like an absolute scalping maniac like we tend to be. We did here, but in the morning, we were expecting bigger. So we shorted here 142.50, 142.80 against 143.10. So that's about 40 or 50 cents worth of risk. That fill right there is 142 flat. So that's already taking 50, 60 cents. Then that trade down here is 141.75. That's $1 in the money. That's another $1. Then we tanked even further, baby. And then this is where I was sitting here with my friend Obi, and he was long here. He took that up. That was a great trade. Then I was like, oh, I'm going to wait for the bottom of the day. It did that. And then I was like, uh-oh, it continued to break. But then it ripped right back up to VWAP. Boom, back down again, out, out, out. Now we're still holding a small piece. But that is my Google trade. I'm still holding it. We're holding 10%. That's just what that is. SMH trying to break. Let's go. Break the 50-period moving average. I have no more bids on SMH. I'm done taking this out. We will need to get revenge on this name. Let's get back down. All these outs are fine. We put money in our pocket, but we want to make sure that we're still holding something. We're still holding about 35% of this trade. Let's see if we can get some fills back in here into the 80s. It's SMH, and I like this short.
Yeah, I think those Google shorts, that was definitely the right idea there. I kind of fumbled that idea there. I wanted to get long. My plan was like, all right, look for the hold of that 142 to get long, and didn't really work out too well. But managed to catch a little bit of a long going into that 12 o'clock piece there, and caught the pop. And when it doesn't really get back through that 142, I'm like, all right, well, clearly I'm asking for way too much here. I'm just gonna peace out. And yeah, XOM as well. Again, we kind of talked about this a little too early, getting in on the front side, but again, it's in play. There's a lot of interest. The volume is spiking. There's a market there's like a huge catalyst on it. So yeah, it can be. I think it can be a little bit competitive, and that's why I'm giving it a lot of space there. But a little too early, and then a little too early on those covers as well. But you know what? It's a work in progress. We got to work on that a little bit there. Kind of keeping our head in the game when things are moving a little volatile, and being patient for that VWAP to come in is how I can definitely improve this trade much better there. I don't have to be like, oh, damn, it's moving. I have to get involved, get short on the first jitter or whatever I think is a good place to get short. That's definitely not the right way to do it. I'm kind of just reviewing my trade with you guys here right now, but yeah, definitely these two initial entries I'm not really proud of there, but this in and around that 103, I think those were perfectly fine, and they managed to work out pretty well there. If you look at it on a 15-minute chart, you'll see why that VWAP reject was pretty clean there. I definitely got to get in a lot more when it does the rebreak of that 103. And then we get that quadunk all the way down to 102. So what a point move there on the backside there with a VWAP rejection on XOM there. So managed to work out. Some of the other names I was watching today was RCL, and yeah, I don't know if you guys remember. You guys were here for that for the morning session there, but we can go over. I kind of pulled it off my screen because I was like, yeah, I don't even want to look at this degeneracy anymore. But I can take a look back at it and see what we did there. So yeah, right off the open. We'll go to a 1 minute chart. We'll blow this up a little bit here. So I took a nasty loss on this right off the open. Unnecessary, totally bad process on my part. Punched along pre-market highs, going in and put in the stop, not fast enough. It slams right back down. Get out, not out enough, and it just goes down for another leg. And I'm like, oh damn, well, you know. But luckily we weren't in too much there. Just a starter. Was looking to get more aggressive if that 133 held and we kept on pushing. But you know what? It doesn't come in, and I peace out for good reason as well. As a reason to sell, definitely was the right reason. Was a right play there, as we kind of faded all the way from 130 into 122, and now we caught a little bit of a bid back up, and now we're pretty much trading sideways around 125. So nice little story going on there on RCL. I'm kind of anticipating the earnings for the rest of the cruise liners, right? Norwegian and CCL coming up in the next few weeks, and yeah, XOM kind of giving us a little bit of a bounce here as well. I had AMD on watch as well. AMD didn't really take part in anything on AMD yet, but it doesn't really, I guess that 170 did come in as of right now, but with the sideways action that we've been having on a lot of these chips, I don't necessarily want to get involved right here, right now with AMD, but yeah, let me know what you guys have been trading in the chat, and we can take a quick look at it. I do want to take a quick look at KRE as well. I know I was trading this name yesterday. I was looking for a little bit of a bounce, but I know that NYCB had a nice tank off the open. Yeah. Nice tank off the open, and yeah, okay, so we got that carry in step. So it looks like the regionals are kind of selling off a little bit here off the open, and that short kind of follow through of that end of day flush that we had on carry. I was looking for a long, I'll be honest. I tried the long a couple times, kind of fumbled it, didn't really do too well on it, but when that VWAP does break down and we close low a day, that continuation comes in, I do want to look back at it and see this kind of setup there. This initial kind of flush was due to, I guess, a sector move. NYCB had some earnings there coming down on that, but caught a nice bid after about 11 o'clock on the day today, KRE.
Yeah, we actually, wait a second. No, it was this morning. Yeah, it was this morning we talked about KRE when we brought up New York Community Bank.
Yep.
And we talked about it potentially being some sort of a buy in and around here. So good move today. Obviously, it's going to still be down on the day. It cranked like real early, man. I mean, this, actually, I wish I would have saw this, and then I would have tried to look for an area to go. Look at the 50-period moving average. So it's right there is when you want to go long. But again, it's cherry picking, right? Just look how clean that looks, and then you look at a stock, potentially like an AMD or something, like the 50-period moving average here. Although it would have kept you short, I guess, through all of this. And you break it long, you break it short. That would have been a little confusing. Then, okay, actually, I guess the only real false signals maybe is what's happening right now. But other than that, you never want to look too much, or I don't anyways. This is why join me, by the way, as tonight we'll go over the, we could potentially set another record. We did have a record viewership on Tuesday when we had AMD, we had Meta. No, we did not have Meta, that's tonight. We had AMD, we had Google, and we had Microsoft coming on Tuesday. And today, I don't know, Brendan again me and Brendan on the podcast talked about this week and how Kia would be. And we were sort of uncertain about whether or not today, Thursday, would be bigger than Tuesday. So what do you think? Tonight we have Apple. I'm asking Obi here. So we'll have Apple today, Obi. Right. We've got Meta, and we've got Amazon. Oh, yeah. Amazon. Okay, I wonder what this guy's going to say. Apple.
Honestly, I don't know.
Meta, Amazon. So the reason why I was thinking Tuesday, I think I might have said Tuesday on the podcast, but honestly, I probably said both days, was because of AMD.
Right.
Because I feel like the key to a lot of the trading that we're doing these days is chip related. Like NVIDIA seems to be propping up the whole market regardless of anything else. So I thought that was pretty important. But now with this Apple movement over the last couple of days, remember we filmed the podcast on Friday. Apple started to really get low starting Monday, down, down, down. So I'm really excited for tonight's report. Apple should come out around 410-ish, and then we'll see if they can report big time again. So what's your opinion on those few days as I'll just load this up here on...
honestly, like I don't know. I'm not really going to go into it with any hard expectations. Again, Amazon is one of the leaders of consumer discretionary. So again, a little bit of a sector mover if it does kind of get pushed around there. But yeah, no, I'm just going to be looking for just the reaction to earnings and the price action going off of that. Nothing too.
Yeah,
Google. No real biases, just price action.
Google's problem was really Ford, by the way, breaking through $12. So we'll wait on that. It's Morgan Stanley with the top pick over there on Ford. Yeah. So right now we can have a quick look. It's always nice when you see T's over here. So it's trillion right now for Apple. Obviously 2.9 trillion. Their expected move just 4%. Their last move on earnings was 0.6. I use earnings, this is Market Chameleon, sorry I said earnings whisperer, but this is Market Chameleon. We do have our own earnings board, we'll call it up maybe in a second. But you can go back here and see the past couple moves, what they've done on the past quarters. Look, not too exciting, 1.9, 0.9, 0.6, 1.5. So I'm not sure what Apple's going to do. It's funny that the expected move is almost 4%. I think that has a lot to do with the environment that we're in right now. It's Amazon at 6.5. It's Meta at 6.5. We've got Merck. We've got all the drug talk right now. New cancer drug with Merck as well, I think a couple months ago. Honeywell, if you're big into the industrial names. Yeah. There's going to be a lot here coming through. Altria, we talked about Ferrari was this morning. That's up 6 points as well. But it's obviously we just focus here at the top for some big names coming through today. I'm excited for Amazon, man. I bought more Alibaba today because I thought Alibaba was kind of set up here. And maybe, I don't know, I don't really hear Frank talk too much about China, but the macro over there isn't the greatest. So I'm not sure if Alibaba can hold out, but I don't mind this bottom here for Alibaba in and around 70. We did make a bottom of $68. I stepped into Alibaba today. Let's see if we can make a little bit of money on this long for Alibaba. And it's just an average price. This is hopefully something that will be in the account for a while. Just want to check, not BAB, B-A-B-A, there it is. Feb 7th, so next week, we'll get some more indication of what's going on with Alibaba. But yeah, I feel like it's beat up a little bit. When this was a big position for Charlie Munger, he's, you know, a value investor. Right. You know, there has to be something here with Alibaba. But any quick thoughts, because we do have Frank on the line?
No, I just think that those guys are playing on a very different time frame than us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, got to watch out. And that's another thing. Play whether or not it's a swing trade, day trade, like a scalping like we're doing, or a longer term investment. Make sure you identify your horizon first. You know, we are not financial advisors or anything like that. Understand your own risk portfolios. And whenever you're assessing risk, it's great to see a macro feel and figure out maybe what the Fed's doing, what rates have a play, how that's playing in your portfolio. And people should probably own some fixed income, especially when you are getting nice fixed income rates, T-bills, GICs here in Canada, so on and so forth. So let's go find out from Frank what he's thinking.
Yeah, great intro. There he is. A lot to discuss here coming off what happened yesterday with Fed Chair Powell kind of throwing a lot of cold water, as we said this morning, Frank, on not only the market rally, I mean, the market's still higher today, surprisingly, on the back of those comments, but the yield market's off a cliff again today, which is a little bit strange to me. I mean, maybe you can explain it a little bit better here. I mean, I was just looking again, the 30-year at 4.1 even, essentially right now, 10-year 3.92, so downside for both in a big way here. Give me some clarity here.
Given the current trend that if you're looking for that high rate, you better lock it in quickly because traders are moving those rates lower in a significant way. And you're exactly right that Powell's point yesterday came off as super hawkish, right? Like the knee-jerk reaction after the meeting, and then especially after the press conference, was no rate cut coming in March. And we'll see about cuts here this year. And he called out, either someone asked him specifically or he called out specifically that the March rate cut not in the base case for the Fed, essentially saying that the way that they're projecting things, March is not right now in play. Now, you and I talked about this a little bit on Tuesday, the market thinking very differently. And what's really at stake here seems to be the time frames. And this is what kind of leads to, after that knee-jerk reaction, what was an overwhelming, what felt like a reversal in one of the biggest ways, Brendan. And just for context here, I'm used to, I traded interest rates. The first thing I traded at the Board of Trade out of school, and you would see these huge moves on Fed days. And then you would usually see Asia and Europe digest them in a really similar direction. Now, that being said, the minute that you think you can predict what the market's going to do, it's going to do the opposite a lot of times. But this was a really significant reversal because you have that rhetoric. You had huge upside in US dollar and downside in stocks, downside in gold. Everything that you would imagine would happen if he essentially said, we're not cutting rates in March. And I have not necessarily devoted myself to rate cuts at all. That happened for the first few hours there. Fast forward to today, 10-year yields are falling through the floor. It's absolutely nuts, getting down to, like you say, 3.9%. I'm looking at some of the futures prices now pricing in 10-year yields closer and closer to 3.75%. Unbelievable reversal here, as now it seems like the market is digesting that, yes, he said we're not looking to cut in March, but he did essentially say we're cutting. And he said it multiple times in multiple different ways. It was in the statement from the Fed that they are looking to, that they have seen the peak and they're looking to normalize rates lower. They said again that they need to see inflation down at 2%, but everybody, the Fed and the market, starting to think we're going to get to 2% inflation here in the US. The Fed is going to start cutting before they start hiking. But the real question is the timeline. And yeah, when you see 2-year yields and 10-year yields and 30-year yields falling 10, 20 basis points, which is what we've seen in the last 24 hours after what was interpreted as, like I say, a hawkish Fed, where you might think interest rates are moving to the upside. The shortest term interest rates, futures on the Fed funds overnight rate for March, moved in the opposite direction. The real thing that seems to be at stake, like I say, is the timeline. But it seems like people trading for the medium term to long term got more confidence that rates are moving lower before they're going to move higher.
I want to get your take on a couple of things here. And the first one of that, it kind of goes back to those comments that you were just referring to. He mentioned a couple of times that, you know, they've essentially won, if you will, the last 6 months worth of data, but that's still not enough, you know, in their mind, you know, to make them confident to make that move going into March. So, and somebody I think even asked him directly, is it going to take another 6 months? Is it going to take another, you know, 3 months, or what's that time frame? And he didn't really have a clear answer on that. The second being, we for a long time now, and Sean made this point earlier, and it was a good one, in that every single meeting, going back to, I think, you know, the beginning of last year, when we get to the actual meeting date, the decision is basically made already. It's become more of a what's he going to say event rather than what's the decision going to make. This could potentially be the first time in quite some time that we go into a March meeting with, as you just showed there, you know, a bit of a coin flip as to what's going to happen.
Yeah, and it'll be really interesting. But to Sean's point, I think we will get there. I mean, the non-farm payrolls tomorrow will be huge. And then we'll also get a March non-farm payrolls. And just for everybody out there who doesn't look at the macroeconomic data very often, employment data and inflation data are the most essential bits to telling us if we'll still be at that coin flip come March 20th, or if it'll be the binary one or the other, to Sean's point. And I think we will get there. And right now the market's edging closer in that no cut in March territory. But what's funny is, as soon as May, I'm sure you looked at this stuff today, Brendan, as I did all throughout the day, the May odds are 96% chance of a rate cut. And so it really has been this kind of nimble act of taking out all of the rate cut in March, but really holding it in May, and if anything, building on it a little bit here in the same way that they've been building on the potential for lower rates 2 years out, 10 years out, 30 years out, even though it's been moving in the opposite direction theoretically in the next month and a half when the next FOMC meeting is. And so I think we will get to that binary. Now, it's leaning closer to no cut in March, but Brendan, I'm going to bring this up because when I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. I jumped on with you in December. We looked at the odds for March, and it was like an 85% chance of a rate cut in March. And you asked me point blank, so what do you think is going to happen? And I said, well, to Sean's point, we usually get to that binary outcome of like it's 99% in one or the other. And so I'd have to lean with where the market is going on this. They've completely flipped between then and now. And so they can completely flip again. And that starts with tomorrow. If tomorrow's number comes in 30, 40, 50, God forbid, 100,000 jobs over what's expected, not necessarily, God forbid, that's good for employment, but leaning to higher inflation, then you might see that market really price out any chance of a cut in March. If it comes in under, you might see them flip back to a more than 50% chance of that cut in March, because Powell has really, it's been a pretty, no matter what your opinion is, he's positioned himself perfectly by simply holding to this 2% target. He's really allowing himself to, one, cut if we do get down to 2% inflation over the next 2 months worth of CPIs and PCEs, but two, not cut even if we get to 2.2% or 2.3%. So yeah, it feels weird right now that we're really close to 50-50 on March, and that's the next meeting. But we have about 50 days between now and then, and we have 2 sets of employment and inflation data between now and then. And I'm fairly confident that by the time we get to that week, they'll have priced in either cut or no cut, and the markets will have moved by then, and we'll be looking at that May meeting.
There was a really great question, and I was trying to think of who it was, but I can't right now. There's a reporter that came on and was asking directly about if when they start to cut, does that signal a new cutting or reducing cycle that they're going into, or is it just a one-off and then let's see what happens? And he didn't really have a great answer for that. I thought it was more just a pass on the way he answered that question. So, and the truth is, let's be honest, he probably doesn't have an answer at this point to give, whether or not it's just going to be a straight line back down, or whether it's going to be, a matter of maybe cut, pause, or just straight back down. So if we do get a cut, does that signal, a start of a new cycle? And if so, they have to get back to a point where it's still restrictive, but what is that number at this point? And then the second part of this is, and he was asked about this as well, that 3% kind of sticking point, it seems. What if it comes in and just holds around, 2.8, 2.9, 3%, and that becomes the new norm?
Well, a couple of things. I think that the 10-year, it's the benchmark for so many different reasons, but I think the 10-year is telling you what right now the floor is for a rate cutting environment. I mean, it's got 10 years of duration that's very highly correlated to the interest rate that the Fed sets. And so I think that tells you, and Fed funds futures for December expiration that align with the December meeting for the Fed are also likelihoods, significant likelihoods, more than 3 or 4% chances, are really bottoming out around 3.754% for the foreseeable future. Now, that being said, we see crazy moves in these markets all the time. One, he can absolutely cut once, inflation upticks 1 or 2 times in a row after that cut, whether it's March or May, and he's like, we're not looking at cutting again. And if anything, hikes are back on the table. There's a very different thing when you start to talk about this recent Fed over Powell's leadership and going back to Yellen, both extremely transparent, but both are extremely dynamic as well. And that's why he's leaving the door open to any possibilities. And people might say that it's, it's cowardly, it's this or that, but he's really saying to everybody out there, almost going oversimplified in the same way that, like a Belichick or a Popovich might in a press conference, that like, dude, we're looking for 2%. And if it's over 2%, we're not cutting. And if it goes higher than 3 or 4%, we might get back to hiking. And I definitely agree with you. Great question out there. And I think in his, deep down that, yeah, they could absolutely cut once and then stagnate there for, 6 months, a year, or whatever. You've seen the Fed over the course, especially over the last decade, stagnate at several points for months and months and months. We've been stuck at the current rate for, what has it been now, more than half a year, when we were at certain points going to hike even further, or when 4% was the top and we were going to turn around from then. And so these things change all the time, but it is why we keep coming back to these employment data points and inflation data points, because that's what these guys will be watching very, very closely, and that'll dictate where these odds shift and where stocks move off of those odds shifting.
Yeah, I think it was the fifth in 6 that we held going into that meeting yesterday. So yeah, better part of 6 months, crazy. Next data point, as you mentioned, coming up as soon as tomorrow morning at 8:30. Frank Caberna is Director of Strategy over at IG.com in Chicago. Appreciate it, as always.
Thanks, Brendan.
And that's why we throw to Frank consistently. Thank you so much, Frank, for all of that. And it's like when Neil says that there's like the Frank pump that happens, like I'm really starting to think that they're possibly not, because like the SMH was cruising, man. We were jamming. And then all of a sudden it's like this right here is, look at that. This is 345. This is 345 or 245 right there. Right up to the upside, get stopped out. I was like, I'm going to take it again in case this is actually something, but it looks like we're going to get stopped out. Shorting semis today, it's been, look, my number one stock is Micron today. This name just continues to go down. So I'm happy with that. Shorting the big dog here has not been a success. We're going to give this, I'm trying to give it always about 15 cents because all of the price, the positions that we wind up getting out are all in and around 15 to 20 cents. So if this takes out about 10 more cents, we're going to be out of this. We do have a losing position back into the short now on the SMH. And then looking back, Micron is dead. Like the reason why I keep averaging in is like Micron is going down, but AMD up, NVDA up, probably SMCI probably up. So here we go again, man. I thought I was a pretty smart guy getting out of NVIDIA there, not getting out of, but taking some out of NVIDIA at 625. It just continues to work. Look at SMCI. It's having a bad day. It's only up 10%. But, I mean, that's great, tongue-in-cheek there. But it looks like NVIDIA is looking to take out the highs as well. Do we have a closing high above where we are right now? I'm not sure. What is the closing high here? 630, maybe close enough. 631 and change. So, again, not a great report from AMD yesterday. It brought everything, almost it all back up. NVIDIA says, I've never even heard of AMD. Straight up to the upside as well. So, yeah, man, I think the best thing to do, my number one stock today is Micron. My number two stock today is Intel. We actually gave a little bit back on Intel. There's the short, Monster is short. We talked about the number of shares, was in the 1,000 there. And then all of a sudden we went back up. I tried again, then tried quickly again and in and out really fast. But this is still my number two stock. And then number one here is going to be Micron. I lied. Google is my number two stock. So what? That just came, I should have shorted this one. That came right back to VWAP as well. You're not, I may or may not have some news for everybody in a couple of seconds, but I'll throw it over to Obi.
Yeah, sure. I'm just looking at. Got a little enticed with this Amazon area here, but again, I'm gonna keep it tight. Markets kind of rip right through that 17.4. I did take a quick break there and sat back down and pretty much punched into a position. May not be the best thing to do, but again, we're pushing right back up in and around that 159 area here. So just filling it out a little bit, and let's see whether or not that comes right back in. Google came all the way back to VWAP. Why don't I have VWAP on here? Let me just quickly throw in that VWAP real quick here. But yeah, no, VWAP coming in on Google. It's held below VWAP for majority of the day there. So yeah, let's take a quick look. Let's apply that VWAP onto the chart right there. Boom. There's the VWAP right there, 141.8 roughly on that VWAP. You can see the morning session pretty choppy, but we do kind of come in and reject VWAP multiple times here. So just underneath 142 now, catching a little bit of a sideways chop for the past few minutes there on Google as it comes in there. So yeah, let's okay. So that's what I thought. I was like, oh, why is the Amazon not punching me out? when we get back above those 80s there, and it just did right there. So, okay, so a little too early there. That's perfectly fine. Like I said, I'm going to be waiting. I'll be patiently waiting. Just that was a quick feeler just to get back in tune with this strong trend that we've been having. Very strong buying pressure. You can see on the 15-minute a little bit better here. Take a look at that. Yeah, Sean, look at this hold of this 57. Right? Like I short here, 158. This is a 15-minute chart. It looks so much nicer on the 15-minute. But yeah, you get short underneath that 159. It comes in, lick grabs a 157. I get out, even though I add on the 157 for the breakdown, and I realize, oh, no, we are not going that way, and cover right away. And it seems like it held that 157 like a champ, and we're raging right back up into that 159. Take a look at that. This is not the right book here. Let me pull that one up for you guys. Throw that size filter up. What's going on, Sean?
No, I just want to say, I know Brendan's at his desk right now. There's something happening. I don't see it on Benzinga, unfortunately, but I don't know if the DocuSign deal, it was not a deal, but I don't know. We talked about this on the podcast. DocuSign's starting to head lower right now. It's obviously an aggressive move. There were potential suitors for this name. I don't see anything on my... here, I'll just show you what I'm looking at. Anyways, the symbol there is Docu. Put in the chat if you have something. But here it is right now. I don't see anything on here. This is what I look at. It's the Benzinga Pro platform. We will have it right now. Brendan has it. What's up?
$15 billion of the DocuSign buyout.
Yeah. I don't know why. Okay, I'll say it. I mean, Brendan, just that's happens when you sit on the mic. You know, you got to get it out of your, your back pocket there. So I see Adair put it in here. J.P. Morgan, Bank of America, both in talks to finance the $13 billion DocuSign buyout. So why does that go down there? I don't understand, but it is a break lower. I like DocuSign. I really think that they do get bought out. We talked about that. I'm going to hold off on my temporary opinion because I don't know what to say about this current movement or exactly what that story means. So if they're financing the buyout, I thought there was a private equity deal that was happening here. So I don't know what that means. So we'll wait to find out what that is. But there it is. Yeah, everyone does have it there in the chat. So I'll wait for a potential halt or something, and then maybe address it if and when that makes a difference. So we'll wait for that. Okay, well, we're back in a little bit here, and the reason why is we are getting potentially a little bit of a pull down. We're entering the power hour. Okay. Hopefully now we'll get a little bit of movement heading into what I think is going to be, and what we all think is going to be, an absolute monstrous earnings after hours. I mean, will we sell off? That's what I'm going to base all of my trades on now, is a potential sell-off into the last hour with aggressive stops. We've been stopped out of SMH. We're down on it, but it hasn't been ugly. It's just that Frank stop out sucked. We're going to go short now against 188. That's these pre-market levels. We literally have that price, 893s. This is well worth it. We're just getting some out now because we're trying to go one-to-one on about 30% or so of what we have, and then we'll work on a lower take and hold the rest for that sell-off. But there it comes. Let's go. This is going to be a good one right now. We'll see if the market can get into the gates of hell right now, back down into the downside, as we'll hold on to a little bit. Psych, we'll take a little bit out right here at 74. There it is. We'll take some more out. Let's see now what SMH wants to do. Out on Frank, back in right here. We only have a couple hundred shares. We're getting lighter and lighter on it. But again, this name can move. If we get back down into here, into 40 cents, that'd be a pretty good trade. And we'll see if that'll happen. And then we'll hopefully hold on for what could be a move back into the 50 period or something like that. So we'll wait on that one for SMH. But so far, so good. And then Micron was great down there. We got another decent piece out right near VWAP. I didn't even realize it just pulled that far up.
Sean.
Yes.
They got me.
Who?
I don't know.
Okay.
But like, it comes into
Don't worry about it.
comes into the 59, right? Get a little short there, and then it stops me out, like I said before, and then it comes into the 90s, and then you get that strong kind of a flush back down. So I did kind of get right back in. Let's see how well it works. We're catching a little bit of a bid, but the first kind of a pullback here. Let me show you guys what I'm looking at on the Amazon. Take a look at this, quite strong on the 5-minute. Take a look at that, very, very strong on the 5-minute, and then you get that first little bit of a different behavior in and around that same area where sellers kind of came in earlier on. Let's see whether or not this move comes into fruition. I took a couple stabs at it. It's bidding right back up, but this Google off this VWAP looking much nicer here, still holding as the market kind of starts to rip. It's kind of muted, right? It's holding underneath the VWAP, can't really get past that VWAP, and if the market kind of comes right back into this 17.4, I'm curious to know whether or not Google will follow a little bit in step or not. But we shall see about that. Softy still sideways. Apple, though, breaking fresh highs, Sean. So bit of a move off the market leader.
I think.
It's breaking new highs. It broke pre-market highs as well. End of day high yesterday was 186.90, and we're coming right back up into that. But yeah, the relative weakness on Google definitely has my interest.
All right. We're doing pretty good here on the rest of that SMH fill. So we just got some more out here on that top, 63, literally just sat there. We are sitting here. Actually, I'm not. I had to put some bids out. We'll sit, like 50 doesn't really, because it's an ETF, this thing just moves with what's inside of it. So for me to sit here and trade it, I mean, you could think, I guess, now that I think about it, and I think that's good that we talked this through, let's freaking go. That we could get a pullback and maybe a stop in and around the 50 cent. We'll take some more out here at 63. We took some out. In and around 50 cents because of options. Today's Thursday, though. I guess you have single day expiry. You guys trade options out there, I guess. A lot of you do, obviously. Let me know if that's a thing, but I think like 187.50 could be a level, but I don't think that there's going to be much defense of that level. I just, you know, if AMD, NVDA, and all these names continue to make moves lower, then the SMH should basically follow, right? I mean, that's how it works. So, yeah, 0 days, 0 DTE. We are going to be getting that very, very soon, by the way. And by the way, well, look at this. I have to log out and back in, but this is BTC. Ooh. And it is on the platform. I just added entitlements today. Tomorrow, we'll be trading spot Bitcoin and spot Ethereum. I think so the only people in the whole company allowed to trade it out of 4,000 traders, okay, me and the gentleman that normally sits there. But we'll get it for you, Obi, in a couple minutes. Okay, don't worry about that.
All right, thanks.
All right, but no, we're going to test it out. So there it is. We're going to have spot Bitcoin.
That's really
I
cool.
believe I read the release notes. And for now, we'll be executing with Binance. So in and out of those quotes. So that should be tomorrow. And then the plan after that is to, once we figure it, not me, once BD and everybody and they get it all figured out in the back, then we'll start to roll out Cardano and Solana and all that kind of stuff onto the platform. So we'll be able to trade spot, all of that. So that should be a lot of fun at some point as well. So yeah, man, that's exciting stuff. And yeah, I'm excited for it. So we will wait to see if that's going. Okay, yo, you want to come over here? Okay, all right, so
Legendary.
I will, Ramin. There's a fan favorite of the man that made a lot of money in sim mode.
Oh, yeah.
And he's one of my favorites of all time. And we've already said hello to each other. So get over here, my guy. It's the man, the myth, the legend. Fahad is back in the building.
Yes.
I mean, now that we have
check,
real
check.
production people,
Where's
the
the
mic
chat?
is
I'll take that. That's a good one.
Anyways.
How you doing, bro?
The chat's saying hola. Oh, they're saying uh-oh. They're saying yo. Everyone's
legend.
excited. Oh, for fraud. They still remember. They still remember. No, the legend. People, the legend. You're back in. Everybody. Yo, Fahad.
Wow,
The Veru
What's up, chat?
CEO.
They know
People
still.
are remembering.
I made $3 million more off that.
This man's a very, very rich man now.
It's crazy. Look.
What?
Ice.
Oh,
Ice.
They can't see that. Can you get a close up of this?
Yeah, they can.
Use the
What?
close up on Obi. Switch to the medium shot.
Switch to the
This
face
is,
shot.
this
to
is
the
way
face
too
shot.
bright.
No,
I'm
it's
getting,
okay.
whoa,
Look,
that's
look
ice.
at
Yo,
it.
get away from the man's face.
Obi,
Bright,
look
bro.
at it.
Damn.
No, I'm out here, man.
Yo,
I hope
man,
everyone's
yo,
doing
man,
good,
chill,
chat. I hope
chill,
everyone's
chill.
good.
So how much for the fit?
No, the fit? No, this is all free because I'm sponsored by a lot of companies
Yeah, of course
now.
you
Yeah,
are,
for
of
just
course you
breathing,
are.
actually. I'm not even doing
Yeah,
anything.
I
other than
see
that,
you
but-
in the gym. You're pushing
Oh,
that weight.
Come on. Look
Yo.
at the chest pop.
Yo, what about the race?
Which way? Oh,
Like
Neil?
this is bigger than that LeBron decision.
No,
That
you're
very
not-
first one
you're
that he
not
made when he
lying.
was going to Miami.
Look how much this guy dodges me. I can't
I know,
even
Neil.
I
For some
emailed him
reason,
a month
Neil.
ago that I'm coming.
Exactly.
And he just
Neil
didn't
knew
wanna
you
show
were coming today, and he didn't show up.
Unbelievable.
For me, that's not a
Yeah,
surprise, but we'll talk to Neil about that tomorrow.
Yeah, please.
So, anyways, people are Mr. Bling Bling now is
I'm
your
out
new
here,
name.
yeah.
You're on that right now. Heavyweight. This man's all
He
over it.
leaves and then he comes back with the drip. Like, what's
He's just flexing on us.
It's because
That's
you know
all.
why? It's because the amount that I was getting here to trade with, that
Yeah.
$1 million cap
You
wasn't
needed-
enough for
you
me. I
needed
needed more,
more.
so I started using
I
my
mean,
own money on the
literally
side.
$3 million on Veru.
Yeah, exactly. So it was going good. No, I hope.
My
days, that
damn,
is
son.
incredible. That is
And this is mine.
PS1s.
This is mine. This is not VS1. This is
But you know
this
what?
is Rainbow Balloon.
This is
or
more
whatever
important
stuff.
because I'm guessing when your kids give it to you.
Yeah, man.
More important than this.
It
I
says
promise
hockey
you.
dad and
I
stuff,
promise
so.
you. I'll give them. Should I give them news?
What news?
My son will be born in a month.
Kaboom! That's what we're talking
Come
about.
on.
Let's go.
My
let's
second
go.
kid. Thank you. My second kid, and it's a son, so I have a baby girl now.
Sick, man.
And a boy, and I was telling him I'm
I
retiring.
hope your boy gets more features from your wife because it might be a rough life if you know it's coming down like you.
All right.
Oh boy.
Listen, not only
You
am I
can't coming on here and start flexing.
Not only am I the best trader ever, but
Yes,
I'm one of
yes,
the
this is
sexiest mans
true.
that'll ever be alive.
You actually
ever.
had to get rid of him because you were just way too good of a trader.
Yeah, I heard the
You
camera
were
just kept
making
turning
all of
towards
us-
me while I'm trying to.
You were literally making us look like
Getting
fools
the
every single day.
No, I hope. Listen, I hope everyone's doing
Yeah,
good.
man.
I obviously missed the chat because it was one of the best
Yeah,
times.
it's still going. It's
You
still
know,
going.
Everything
man.
is good.
Everyone's going
I
nuts.
hope everyone's making money. I hope everyone's
Crowd
healthy.
papa, they're saying. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
great.
yeah.
That's
very, very
absolutely
happy. Life is going good. I know. Sean's
Sexiest
life
trader
going-
alive. You mean me or this guy? What's happening here?
It's a fair
It's fair.
tie right now.
It's
yeah,
fair.
yeah, we're
It's
good.
fair.
Yeah, we'll
It's
share.
fair.
We'll
Cool.
share.
You're a
the
little
title.
younger
Yeah,
than
yeah.
me. I got that. You
That's
got the
right,
flow
yeah,
going.
yeah.
I remember when you shaved the head out live on the
Yeah,
show.
I still have short hair. I'm done with long hair,
Yeah,
man.
I like that.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
because of us.
It was
No,
good.
but we raised
Good
money
co-
for
it
that
was a
cause.
great
That was a great
super
cause. I want to
great
thank
cause.
everybody
Yeah, yeah.
that donated for that. All right, well, we got a show to run.
Absolutely. I hope you guys stay
Yeah, man.
making money.
Hey, Raptors game. We'll if you're around the
You know,
city.
I have a really good thing about the Raptors that everyone should follow. Don't bet on them because they suck.
Right.
Yeah,
That's it?
That's it.
All right. Well, obviously.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
And
See you, bro.
Make some money.
yeah, that's what it's all about. So there we go, man. The man, the myth, the legend. If you want to do some push-ups on the green screen, yeah, you could do some push-ups for everybody. So this guy, he's saying he never played golf in his life, but he could beat everybody at golf. So I'm almost 100% certain that's probably true. So, all right, shout out to Fahad. Thanks for swinging by on that one. So that was great. That was fantastic. So thank you, Fahad, for that. And he out of here, baby. All right, as you can see, we have a lot of fun. And there he is. People are always asking, where's Fahad? Where's Fahad? Found him.
There he is. Yeah.
Right there. And he got in here smooth, man. Our security was very, very tight. So that's what happened there. But okay, or non-existent. All right, we're still in SMH. Nothing. I would have been really mad if it went down and I didn't get out because I was talking to my boy there, but that didn't happen. So SMH right now hovering. I'm still super happy to see that guy. And I'm very, 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 very happy for him about that kid thing because I feel like, you know, the more the merrier on that front, and Fahad's a great guy. So, all right, making some more moves down for MU. I don't have much to say now. I mean, the trade that we want, we're in it right now. It's SMH. Pretty happy. Let's put another bid here at 68. I am bidding 60s. I'll cancel that to take a 68 fill right now because it looks like it's trying to hold a little higher. If we do crank, we do have that 187.50 area that we're really looking to fill up. So there it is. We'll see if that happens. Now for SMH, trying to get a little bit more out. I still think we can go down, but look, Obi, we're nowhere near shorts being right.
Yeah.
So I don't have a technical reason. Like normally you guys know that I'll say, okay, we're playing the short, we're under VWAP, we're under but we're way over now. The NASDAQ's up 1.1%. If you're not buying dips on NASDAQ, then it seems like it's wrong. But I don't know, man. Like that moved down yesterday, down 2%. The NASDAQ was down 2% yesterday. They sneeze, and it's half of its back in one day. You know what I mean? And the only major tech
That's how it
earning,
is sometimes.
the only major tech earning we got was Qualcomm, and they were bad.
Yeah, they didn't do much.
So there's money on the sidelines buying this all up. Roblox, I think long, but I will look at that YZ.
Yeah, this is it's a little bit of a push into that 159 here. I do have some from 158.70s, a little too early there, but that 159 I do like, and it's kind of it is struggling. We've kind of printed some size in and around there. We did break and then come right back in, so I do like that. And the NQ kind of just previous 15-minute candle, bit of a doji, wicking both sides here. Third or the current bar has about 10 minutes left to print there. So I'll be patiently waiting here. I did want to interact with this 159 earlier. Let's see how this works out. But yeah, Alphabet still holding underneath that VWAP, so relatively muted, even though the market is attempting to push up higher and higher. Google is kind of being held down here. And yeah, a lot of action going on here on Amazon as well. Again, earnings eve, so Apple, Amazon, and I think you said Meta as well, kind of on watch today. And yeah, a little bit of a lick grab of that 159 as of right now, but hasn't really broken trend too much, but that's what I'll be waiting for here. But that relative weakness on Google, I do like that look. We printed the first red 15-minute candle after, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive greens on Google. When you look at the 15-minute chart here, taking a look, yeah, the wick is getting in the way a little bit, but you can see that hold, that first 15-minute red, but that could mean nothing. If we just kind of continue back up to the upside, that's perfectly fine as well. But as of right now, it seems like VWAP is holding on Google. So an interesting look, bit of a top coming in on Amazon, or the previous top coming in on Amazon as well. So I might be a little preemptive on this idea here, but we'll let it cook. We'll let it kind of do its thing. And 630 on NVIDIA. That might be why we're catching a little bit of a bid, Sean. NVIDIA's pushing fresh highs. Apple's pushing fresh highs as well, and the other names kind of not really doing too much. Amazon, it's attempting to push fresh highs, but it's still holding underneath previous day high there. But Google is definitely interesting underneath that VWAP. Relative weakness, right? You speak on this quite a bit there. And what are your thoughts on Google kind of holding underneath that VWAP while the rest of the market just rages to the upside?
Yeah, we're still short Google against that 142, but as I said, we're only holding that 10%, and I will discuss it when we get back from Brendo.
This portion of the show brought to you by Simpler Trading. Want Danielle's 3 favorite option strategies for tackling any market condition? Get her popular tools and training bundle today for just $47.
Yeah, I just want to make sure. I just make sure they're making the thumbnail. Sometimes we go back and forth. Confirm Danielle Shea on tonight, so we'll hear about what she's looking forward. She called that Tesla short into earnings, not after earnings. So that was good, and we look forward to seeing what Danielle has to say today as well. So that should be fun times with Miss Danielle Shea. Check her out tonight. Hit that QR code and find all about what she's doing and playing options and whatnot. As I'm super excited to get options, but I said it would be first quarter. I just telling you what BD's telling me, and if they said first quarter, they also said the same for crypto. So it looks like that's going to get rolled out right immediately, which. If I log out and back in, it would probably be there, but I'm just going to wait for tomorrow because I don't want all these charts to get messed up. So your question about Google, look, we talked about possibly reloading this. The thing is that I don't want to do it anymore. I'm already, like, my bed, so to speak, is made already. I'm short Micron, I'm short Google already, and I'm short the chip space with the SMH. So those are my only 3 positions. You can see them scrolling around the bottom, and you're short Amazon.
Yeah.
And the market is pretty much near highs. So it's like, I mean, unless you really think this is coming down, which I expect it to, like, we can't look back at yesterday because yesterday had Fed in it. So that doesn't that pullback doesn't really matter. It's just like you need to break. Like, I don't. Right here, we're getting close. We talked about this morning. This goes back to the 23rd, so you're back a week where you had this bottom, and that's what we're bouncing our head against right now. This is just the NASDAQ, 17,450 basically. The NASDAQ today, 17,430, and we just hit that 450. So this is why we can always pull back and look at charts like that, and this is part of it. You know, it might seem like we're just trading randomly. Maybe some of us are, but I'm really trying to figure out. That's why I was short the SMH into this. I just was like, we don't have chip earnings. Like I thought that we could fall back in, but AMD makes us look foolish today. So does NVIDIA, as they all just continue to go to the upside. Now we're not down anything. It's this we're down on SMH, but we're waiting for this thing to fall. If it doesn't fall, then it's going to be a problem because the shorts was not good here. We were lost there. This was fine. It pulled back. This was good, but then an L there and a most recent L. We'll see if it can pull back. We're still holding a position to try to get this name back down in. But again, if NVIDIA and all that keeps on going higher, let me put this basically in layman's terms right now. I feel like the risk right now is not in going short, it's in going long. It just seems like a lot of these names are exhausted maybe to the long side, but then look at this. We just keep bouncing up, bouncing and bouncing and going higher. I just would rather short tops than buy tops, and that doesn't appear to be working out the greatest right now, but that's what I'm doing. And SMH, until we break 187, it's been fine. We just got a good short on. Let's see if it breaks lower. We could break, and if we do, then the market falls in. And I'm just basing this on Microsoft earnings, AMD and Google were all negative. Today, Meta is going to rely on advertising. Google's weakest segment was advertising. So let's wait to see what happens. SMH has gone right back up to 188 again.
Okay, all right, that's a good look there. But yeah, I'm just curious to know what your opinion on that relative weakness was.
Well, that's what I was saying to Google. It's still up 1.1%. It's actually up with the market. You feel like it's relatively weak?
I mean, it's holding underneath the VWAP, right? It's nowhere close to near its high of day, right? We've been kind of heavy off of VWAP. Again, you had the short idea from the morning, which clearly worked out very, very well. So it is kind of selling off on the day here. But yeah, with the market raging like this and it holding underneath the VWAP, I was just curious to know what your take on that might be. But
well, the same time, I mean, honestly, put it on the sticky note today. I thought there would be a day two play for all of these names, and then so yesterday we got clocked up a little bit there. We started shorting Microsoft early, and then honestly, me and Softy normally roll pretty good, like we're normally friends. But today early, it just was not giving me the vibes. It did fade back out, and now that I look at this, we did talk about 405 short. Like it's right here on the sticky note, 405 short. Look at this. What else am I supposed to do? That's 405 short. Look where it's short. It's short here on the break. The break was the best. Then it's short here on a move back up. It's short again. It's short. There's 4 possible trades here in Microsoft that I should have had every single time because it's just right on here. But instead, you know, I should have brought my diamond inspector there for that bracelet. You know what I mean?
Oh, you have one of those?
Huh? No.
You got the little...
No, I'm not a jewelry salesman, but that would have been fun if I did. And then I would have put it on there, and then it would have been blowing up. Yeah, exactly. But no, yeah, that was great to have Fahad on there. I mean, what a I think he and I like vibe really well together because we're both pretty high energy guys, and you know, I like.
It was always a vibe when Fahad was around.
Yeah. The greatest trader ever. I just love that he called, like that's the best. And I don't know if you were here.
Confidence.
Yeah. The confidence in him. I mean, he thinks he could beat Neil in a race.
Right.
I say he would win. I say he would win. I've told that to. I said that he'll beat Neil because Neil will pull a hamstring, and I said this to Neil before.
Neil was a track and field runner, though, right?
He was.
Yeah.
You know,
he's got some muscle memory.
His H starts with a 4 and ends with a 4. Okay, same as mine. Both men. I wouldn't even be like the race would start and it would finish before I'm even halfway done. But the point about it is that I only say this, and it's funny because we're having fun here, and it's not because on Neil's expense. We talk about this when he's here, and he admits that we've had races before because we all have like a high school fantasy draft,
Right.
and we're all from high school, and everybody was an athlete in high school. And so last draft, one of our friends actually pulled his hamstring during a race at our fantasy football draft.
Wow.
Yeah, so I have
gotta be
visions
careful
of that
there.
happening
Yeah,
to my
you
man
gotta be a little
Neil
careful.
over there. That's all. But anyways, I don't know. Maybe he wouldn't. Without hammy injury, I mean, I think Neil would. Come on, he should be able to beat Fahad right there. But I love the confidence over there. I'm not so confident in my positions right now. Micron's 40 cents in the money. SMH is just hovering around. Let's see if we could do something here with these names. But for right now, it's not looking very promising that this market is eventually going to fall.
Yeah, it's a little kind of indecisive here near these highs. There, we kind of rushed up into these levels here. We're just hanging around, in and around. What is this? 17,420 held quite well, and then we're just right at the 17,440. It would seem, just holding right underneath that. Again, I'm still kind of waiting to see what this move kind of does. Watching Google as well, watching Softy, Amazon, of course. I'm in that right now as it kind of starts to bid right back up. Only about 5 pennies away from high a day there, but every time it kind of comes into this 159, there it goes. Potential new high a days there. So I should probably be getting out of this thing soon enough here. But yeah, let's see where this kind of goes to. We just cracked high a day at that 159, 159.15, as you guys can see. We're just still chopping around, so no real push off of that break of the high a day. So we did kind of consolidate and chop around quite for a long time in and around that VWAP mark. So I'm questioning the follow through here on the move, but it is what it is. I can question all I want. The market will let me know whether this works or not. But yeah, that 159 coming in. I'm curious to know what you guys have been trading. I know that someone in the chat earlier mentioned Mara, that they were making some money on Mara. So I haven't really looked at Bitcoin as of today, but Mara looking like it did a little bit of a nice shake and bake off the open, held VWAP holding strong on the day. So let's take a quick look at our Bitcoin here. I like to look at this on the hourly, a little bit cleaner, as again it trades 24 hours, kind of cleans up some of the action, gives you a better story of what's been potentially going on here. But we've been holding that 42 quite nicely and bidding back up. So maybe potentially that Mara bid coming in due to that Bitcoin move there. And yeah, Sean, I was also watching, because I was trading XOM earlier, I was also watching the Dixie, and yeah, the Dixie kind of moving around today as well. I think we had what was it, 12 o'clock, well, there was a bond auction as well, I believe, yeah. So I think Wayne was talking about this earlier, about how the Dixie moved off the bond auction and kind of pulled the market along for a ride as well. So decent look. I still remember I started watching Dixie when you mentioned it, Sean. Kind of an important tool to watch if it's in play, if it's moving around, and clearly kind of having an effect on the day today.
Okay. It's interesting because we do like to look at the dollar and the dollar strength, and we did have Frank Caberna come on, so you guys can go back and have a quick look at that at 2:45. All about the. I was writing a message here, all about fixed income and the dollar, and he was as well surprised about the March no more possibility for that rate cut. But the thing about it is, I was actually thinking about this. First of all, SMH looks like it's going to continue to go up. I feel like the long there today, it's just kind of like just creeping up. And, you know, trading SMH is kind of like trading the futures. We should have just watched out for this 50-period moving average and just kept on buying all of these dips all the way in. The minute that we saw this for the NASDAQ. But then I was looking at it, and my bias was really set on that, on Apple and potentially missing. But, I mean, it doesn't look like the market wants to do that. So we're very, very comfortable, man. If we wind up losing a dime on this, then that's what we lose. I mean, that's why we were getting out of half of it when it was coming up. So, like, I'm talking a little bit like, oh, my God, this SMH trade, but there's really nothing wrong with it. It's just not acting properly at these levels and not doing what I thought it would do. It's sure acting properly. It's just not going down. And when you're short, that's what you prefer. So, yeah, not the greatest trade there. I was going to say something and then I forgot what it is. Yeah, we should have flipped long when Frank started talking. You're 100% right about all of that. AMD is starting to pull down a little bit. I was just looking at that. There it is, off of 171. I'm not certain that this would have been a short again. So again, like sitting here and trying to predict where these stocks are going is kind of a losing game sometimes, but AMD right now has been turned on. Great long here today, and here we go. Maybe we can take this 50 period finally on this market. I don't think Apple's rolling over yet, is it? 186, no, so Apple's still just back to this 50 period moving average. So we're getting close, man, on all of these stocks to figure out what we're doing. You're out of Amazon? No, you're still in Amazon. So, okay, so that's good. Oil dropping. We could get the early imbalance look. Good question there. It's 289 to buy from Brendan. Let me just check back in on Docu really quickly to see if there was any action there. I told you I didn't really understand that, but I mean, there it is. It's a flush down in. JP Morgan and Bank of America in talks to finance. Oh, you know what? Okay, it says 13 billion on DocuSign. So hold on a second. Maybe that's why it went down. What is DocuSign's current valuation? Yeah, it's only, so I feel like they're just talking about the current market cap. So if they're only looking to get financing for 13 billion, maybe that's the story. Maybe the story is that the market cap rate, because that's what we have in our chat here. That's the story that Brendo gave to us. If the financing's for 13 billion and current market cap is 12 and a bit, we just got stopped out. We'll have to stop a fail on that. It's my bad on the SMH. It just broke 188. We were sort of trailing it all the way up. Didn't work out. Sorry about that one, but oh well. That sucks. We're red on SMH today. Hate that. But anyways, what I was looking at here was the market cap for DocuSign only being that 12. SMH starting to go through 188. Maybe that was just a crazy long right there we should have taken. Maybe that was the story there with DocuSign. So we'll have to find out about that. Starting to get back up. I don't want to use VWAP for that, but it just stopped exactly at VWAP at 60.50 and then headed back down. So DocuSign could be a thing. Shaking my head with SMH because it just continues to march higher. So take a little bit of profit, try to get it back, and then to get taken out back up to the upside. It's just stop outs there. We don't like when it happens, but that is what happens. Apple above 200 next week. We did get a super chat about Meta earnings, so I do want to address that before I forget. If I can still find it, here it is right here, Ian Rispetto. All right, so let's look at the implied move. Thank you, Ian Rispetto, there for Meta. We'll look at the implied move for Meta. So I have that right here on Market Chameleon, so we'll go there right here and have a quick look. I thought it was 6%. So it is. So the implied move right now for Meta is 6%. Its past move was 3, fall 5, 1, 5, 6, 8, 6, 8, right? So we're going to find out. Last move was 3.7. Implied is 6.3 on Meta. So that's the implied move. So if you're going to say 6% on Meta, it's a $400 name. 10% is $40. Obviously, you just do the math. Go down $25 down to the downside. So that means 375 or so. I think that would be a great area to pick something up. If you get into 360, even better. But again, hype possibly about the Oculus. I think the Oculus might have had a really good Christmas. It's not a huge part of their portfolio, but we do know Meta Labs has been a losing proposition. But if the Oculus had a good sales number, SMH is back down 188, and I was thinking about shorting it, but I won't do it. Okay. I feel like Oculus could have a good sales number, so that's what I'm talking about. But we are a little bit nervous about ad spending because of the Google report. But again, Google just got flushed yesterday, 7%. That would be the implied move with Meta. The only thing is, I don't know, you tell me. I feel like I'm not hearing as much about TikTok anymore. And if I'm not hearing as much about TikTok anymore, then Reels is a thing. So if Reels is a thing, then Meta should blast whatever numbers were projected for daily active users on that platform. So it's kind of a give and take there for Meta, but as I look at this chart, it's really doing well. Microsoft had a great quarter, so did Google, right? Intel's not so much and continues, but they still sold off on those quarters. So I would probably prefer a put on Meta, but I don't know, Ian, if that helps you or not. I think WhatsApp is going to be good. I think those numbers will probably be bigger than expected, but they're not monetizing WhatsApp yet. Watching Micron. What do you think about Meta? If you're looking at the chart, any opinion on the chart?
Yeah, so Meta, I think we recently broke that 400, but we haven't really gone too far anywhere off of that level, right? So I think that was a little interesting. We got a little flush right back through that 400, and you can see today that 400 being that high a day roughly right there. So 400 is going to be interesting, but again, like I said, I like to go into earnings without any real bias there. I'm not really a speculator or like an investor or anything like that. But okay, so this Amazon, I want to be done with that right now. I did kind of manage to piece out a win out of that. It does pull back, it breaks that trend, but that aggressive bid right back up. I kind of want to stay a little bit wary on that. It goes down to 70s, can't really print too much below 70s, and then it rips right back into the 59. So I did piece out of some of those bad shares there, and then made a little bit on the ones above that 159. But clearly, it's not really. I was looking for. I guess I'm chasing the move from a little earlier there, and it just I guess it just not there right now. And with only about 10 minutes until the imbalances come out, I do want to piece out and call it a bit of a day for today, and let's see if anything sets up into the close, maybe some closes there. But yeah, 400 on that Meta has been quite nice. I've been watching it over the past few days. We did break and then we come right back in, so nothing too crazy that we did. We're just consolidating. But another thing, Sean, is that we kind of talked about this. It's pretty much a V. It did a full-on V-shaped recovery, very symmetrical move there. This is the weekly, and you can see I did have an alert right here at that 340 from much earlier. This is Meta, right? So we did a pretty much a textbook V-shaped symmetrical recovery here on the weekly chart on Meta, and it's like I look at this and I was like, wow, you only read about these in textbooks, and this is a prime example of one that we lived through, right? And we definitely accumulated some buying pressure there. We did break out of this level 420 potentially coming in, but with the earnings coming on, I have no idea. I don't know anything about the fundamentals, but I'll definitely be keeping a watch on it. It is one of the top constituents of the market, definitely in the top 20 for sure. But yeah, Meta, a little interesting, but I'm more focused on Amazon and Apple for tonight. Apple's going to be interesting to me. It's been kind of muted, hasn't really been doing too much, right? Like I talked about this before, everything's been breaking all-time highs for the bigger part of the Mag 7, except for Apple, right? We saw that Google did it. Google came back in. That's fine. Softy did it. Yeah, it's just like where are we going? Why is it relatively weak? I don't know. Who knows? But it'll be interesting to know what happens with the earnings and how the price action carries over in the following weeks, right? I think it'll be good.
Correctamundo. I don't know where I got that from, but I feel like that used to be a saying somewhere. Correct.
I've heard that one before. Yeah.
That seems a bit weird. All right, tonight, Danielle Shea. Here it is, man. Get ready for the recap show. Meta's coming at 405. I just heard in my ear. Apple's normally in and around 430, which will be great because we'll be able to discuss some key levels and what we're looking at with that one. I almost was like, I don't know if I want to tell you guys that Apple might be 430, but we're live until 430 anyways, and we'll stay live until Ramin cuts the cable. Huh? Oh, happy days. Okay, I'm a little old for that. Oh, it's Fabian tonight. Okay, so we're going to stay late tonight until Apple earnings. So thanks for that, Ramin. But no, my family's actually coming here because we're going to the Scotiabank arena tonight for the NHL All-Star.
Yeah, you were talking about that.
So there's the draft, and then there's the 3-on-3, and we're super excited for that. So I'll see people there. Apparently, Justin Bieber is going to be picking some teams. Will Arnett, Justin Bieber, Tate McRae.
The Biebs.
Somebody else. Yeah, the Biebs right there. Maybe
I
I'll give away some of those jerseys.
I got one of those Tim Biebs.
Hats or toques?
Yeah, the toques. That was.
yeah,
I don't know if you can still get those, but that was pretty funny. I still remember the Tim Biebs, Tim Hortons little donut box. People were selling that on Facebook and stuff like that.
For like on eBay and
yeah,
stuff?
on eBay and stuff.
They're
trying to resell that.
They sold out.
That
Traders
was
stay
funny,
like Kevin
funny
Mendoza.
times.
But what I was going to get at too was this. Thanks to Adara for this. Like you said, you mentioned Apple's domination and how we're excited to see about Apple. Like this is the smartphone. Like let's just see what happens. If they keep on selling the iPhone, I mean, right now they're just dominating. Samsung 17% right now. There's like I don't even know where the pixel is here, but this is the Apple domination. I don't even see Google on here. Maybe they're part of the others, but right now Huawei 5%, and that's that, man. Samsung's right there as well. So I don't know how old this is from Carbon Finance, but that's it. Right. Well, I assume it's brand new, actually. 71% market share, the global premium. So I don't know. I didn't vet this, but that's what it is. 2023 data. So there it is, right there. But anyways, interesting name to come tonight with Apple. We did short the Qs, and it's a nice trade right now. We're nicely in the money. Let's just keep punching it out as we did go over to, forget about the SMA. Look at that, stopped out, shorted again, like as if this always happens to me. We are up on this stock right now. That's all that matters. I just wish we never got stopped out, then we would have a clean trade. But you can't always be exactly right, so we'll try to be partly right and see if the Qs want to fall down here into the close. It just needs to take the 50-period moving average. We do have a buy imbalance of 289 million, but yesterday I believe it was a buy, and then it got flipped around on its head. There was a 7 billion, was it a sell? I'll have to, maybe I'll zoom up into the chat and find out what it was, but I thought it was 7 billion. Was that yesterday? Because we did have Fed. So I'm going to go back and look to see what it was there yesterday. Yes, there it was from Brendan yesterday. 7.2 billion to sell on the close. And then we had also a great trade idea. Shout out to Chris Brecher yesterday. I know it's on LinkedIn. I think we clipped a piece of this for you. He talked about the 350 closing trade when it comes a big imbalance to short into the close. So we'll see if that can happen here tonight. Go back and find the recap show yesterday from Chris Brecher. Thank you for that insight, my friend. That was a very, very valuable piece to look at, especially if you come into a big sell. One more time here today. Let's go Qs, man. We're in the money, 40 cents. This could turn out to be a saving day for me.
Yeah, a bit of a pullback there. We were talking about that Google underneath VWAP.
Oh, and, not the Google. Is that what we're calling it again? It's one. It's
the L.
It's the L and it's a Goog.
It's the class.
Let's not take some L's. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. We're hanging on. We're not too bad today, but Google kind of coming in off of that VWAP. We were talking about that relative weakness, and when the market slows down a little bit more, you get that strong quadrupling 141.80s VWAP consolidation, relative weakness, and the market can't really decide where to go. And then all of a sudden, I see like a wipe of the bid from the corner of my eye. I look over, and Google is down another 40 points, or sorry, 40 cents. Let me rephrase that. 40 cents, not 40 points.
Yeah.
It's 40 cents.
Well, you were right about thinking about that VWAP short.
Yeah, I was like, I was trying to like feel it out. I'm like, I don't know, but I guess it was the right idea. I got to go look back at that and kind of. How
about over analysis paralysis? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Sometimes, yeah, I get that sometimes, and it's just like.
Yeah, and it's just like the thing is when you're looking at a stock and it hits VWAP, why do we even have VWAP up on our charts? For me, like I just
to see what other people are looking at.
Yeah, like no, but I took it the first time. I'm just saying, like, what really did change? Why we shouldn't have took it again? Which is, I know what you were trying to get at when you were asking me. And I just didn't have an answer because I was short the SMH, and that was starting to blow back up. To
I just wasn't sure. That's why I was like, I'm curious to know how you would potentially look.
Yeah, I mean, I was getting out if we broke that level. So, all right, 3 minutes to go. Let me give it to you for 3 minutes. I'm just going to go get a water and make sure that we're all set up for the closing show. But for right now, we'll go handle some business. I'm going to go grab a water, and I'll be right back.
Brought to you by IG.com. Trade Forex pairs like Euro USD with spreads as low as 0.8 pips and zero commissions at IG. Terms and conditions apply.
Yes, sir. All right, so with the day kind of coming into a close here, we can do a quick review of, again, I keep asking this question over and over again, and I can see some of you guys have already started putting some tickers into the chat, but I'm curious to know what you guys have been trading on the day. We had a crazy kind of morning, bit of an expanding range, and we finally broke out towards those highs, 15.4 coming in, very, very strong. Upper end of that range in the morning was about 17,360, 17,380 roughly, and then we did kind of push above that there, and take a look at Google coming in right there. Here comes some of these imbalances in about 2 minutes. I'm seeing some stuff here, but nothing prepared right now as the actual numbers come out at 50. We still got about 2 minutes left, a minute and a half. It's 48.30 right now. But yeah, let's take a quick look. People talking about Starbucks. Oh boy, that's a name that I missed. Starbucks definitely they had earnings. I think earnings was today, or it was either earnings day 1 or day 2. Okay, earnings day 2 was today, right? So strong quadunk off of earnings yesterday. A bit of a continuation follow through happening today as when we get back. Look at that! Wow, back below the closing price on Bucks there. Nice little flush confluent with that VWAP rejection as well. But by the end of the day, you kind of wipe the move coming right back in. Maybe that reversion coming in off of that strong sell-off right there. And here comes some of these imbalances right now in about 50 seconds here. So yeah, I'm just patiently waiting just to see if anything interesting might come out there. Market pulling back right there. We are printing the first red 15-minute candle going into the close here. So I'm curious to know how it's going to end up.
Okay, yeah, thanks for that, Obi. That was good.
We got some names in the chat. People trading AI, Amazon.
Amazon gonna fly. Okay, AI. Oh yeah, we haven't looked at C3 AI in just a minute. Okay, but we'll look at all that. Here we go. This is it. We refresh this. It's 349, 47, 48, 49, 50. So this is, if you're, sorry, 349, 55, 56. So if you're watching with us and you're a little bit delayed, that's what we're doing here in Toronto. And there it is, 350 right now. Let's see what happens. Bye-bye Qs. Hopefully we get to the downside. We'll take another bid right here at 64. This is going to be a pretty monstrous trade, like I said. So far, so good on that one as the Qs try to get back to the downside, I'm hoping. What do we have on here? Do we have some Apple news? No, we do not. Do we have, I'm still in Micron, but we're basically out of that. The only more worried, what is the total number? Brendan will have that in a second. Peloton, I don't see any of the big guys on here, man. Peloton was fine until it broke. PayPal, I don't see anything. So the TLT today, I think we were talking about it being up today with Frank. Yeah, so there it is, up 1.83%. So that's up today.
I just looked at HBAN as well.
HBAN is a penny stock, isn't it? Yeah, so
it's
that's
$12.
Yeah,
Huntington Bank shares.
Anyways, guys, not much. Oh, there's Apple with a sell. All right. Yeah, so it's a relatively light number. Remember, that number will not have the NASDAQ in it, but it's 150 to buy. So, hey, man, we almost have this on the Qs. So we took, it wasn't a big position. We took 400 shares up there. You know, oops, that's not the Qs. This is the Qs. So it's fading back in, which is why I just was like, again, like, look how ridiculous this is. I had no idea the market was going down, but hey, it's a pretty decent way to end. Okay, here we go. It's a pretty decent way to end the trade right now as we still have a little bit on of this trade, about 30%. You know, come back in. It's a good way to end the day. We should have put more shares, but again, you know, a little bit of lack of confidence because of what happened with SMH. But wow, come on. But this is the trader's paradise. You know, it's like when it works, it's great. When it doesn't, then you look back and you're like, you know what? It's good to stop out at 188. It goes as high as 188.10. Like as if, even if you have 1,000 shares, like, you know, to hold that. I got out at 04, so it's just hindsight, right? Because like if you don't, the thing is, if I don't get out right here on this break, then and I hold it all the way, like that all of a sudden is disastrous. It is very, very hard to pick and choose your points of interest there. But yeah, you guys are right, man. SMH is falling down. Let's see. It's kind of like the London Bridge, but not as dramatic. All right, Apple, nice move down as well. People are going to get FOMO about not buying the dips in names like Microsoft or whatever, right? But like, I still feel like you're going to get this opportunity. And I want to throw up, honestly, and I might do a little bit in my mouth. So if you see something, I apologize. Because like we had Microsoft 405. It's on the sticky note. You know what else is on the sticky note as well today? A trade that we had that we should not have ignored. I have a couple ideas on here, and we're going to review this tonight, but it's Tesla. It's not going to do anything. It doesn't matter. I tried. Tesla 184. No, but I'm not heated or anything. But we had
it's on the Twitter.
It's on something called Twitter. It's on something called Instagram, and I don't know if it's ever going to be on TikTok or not. But 184.50 right there. We had the long. That was the idea on. Okay, you know what? Hold on. I'm just going to show the sticky note because we do a sticky note review every single day. And if we do have new viewers, they're probably like, what the hell is this guy holding up in front of the screen like that? This is what it is. It's on Twitter. It's on everything. Tesla 184 long, Microsoft 405 short, Google short. That's a win. That's a win. That's a win. The 760 SoFi, do we even want to look at that? And then the Rivian short. So right there, let's go ahead. Renata took the 760 long. She can vouch for that. I have no idea what SoFi's at right now, but there's the 760 long right there. That goes down to 757 and then bumps to 780. That's a good trade. You're still in the money if you have that trade. The Tesla long is cash. The Microsoft short is cash. But instead, I'm shorting levels that I don't even have written down. 406, 407, and then we get blown out. It goes to 408. Then it just gives you 405s like it's candy all day. So, hey, we're going to be back tomorrow. We're going to give just as good levels, probably better. Watch out for Apple's coming very, very soon. Amazon, I think, could be a doozy. We bought some Alibaba shares. I wouldn't mind if Amazon rips tomorrow and justifies some e-commerce plays for Alibaba as well. So we'll wait for that. Apple right now near and going to close at the high of the day. So let's figure that out. What does that mean for earnings here? I wonder if that analyst is still worried about shipments now. But hey, they got what they wanted. They brought it back down close enough to the 200. Wouldn't be surprised tomorrow if we're somewhere up here. I also wouldn't be surprised if we take that and get down below 180. You could have a great report and guide poorly. Yeah. So let's see what the guide is.
When they're shipping chips, is it called shipments? All right, so anyways, there's one name that actually had a strong move off the imbal, and that's the IPO that happened today. I was watching this out of the corner of my eye. Right at 50, gets slapped up for 50, almost 40 pennies, trading at 13 ones. Imbal comes out. It's printing 1350s almost within 3 minutes. Absolutely wild there. Right back up to VWAP there. 1350, a little bit of an interesting level on this AS going forward. Let's see, I'm curious to know what we're going to be doing with that 1350. There was a little bit of an interesting party sitting in and around that level, and the way we interacted in and around those prices was definitely some information I'd like to carry over into the following days. Again, this is day one of the IPO. We've had how much volume has this thing done today? 17 million, so nothing too crazy. We've had better IPOs kind of come out in the past few months. I think what was that recent one? I'm forgetting the name already, but I think that one was pretty decent as well. But yeah, AS 1350 rips right back up on the imbal, and I was looking at some other names as well. Nothing too crazy there.
Yeah, we just covered everything.
Amazon actually pulled back all the way into the 50s and 60s off of that 159, and I was like, damn, I covered a little too early. But going into the imbals, I'm not really willing to take on that kind of risk as of right now. But yeah.
This is called planting crooked purple flowers. You see, like here's the stem, here's the flower. It's like the wind is like blowing it that way.
Really nice painting.
It is a nice painting, and it is a profitable painting. So all of a sudden there, we just took the cues at the end of the day. I feel much, much better.
What price did someone ask you, what price do you want? And you just said yes.
Yes. I was like going down by. So the thing is that this is going to look ridiculous for many people and for me as well. But I got to go over it. So Amazon reports 1 minute after the bell, which I got to go. Meta is 5 minutes after the bell. Apple will be a little bit later. So I'm going to go over there. But I just want to say we covered our Micron. This is my #1 stock today, and it's a monster. That's all I'll tell you. My #4 stock today is going to be the Qs. We just put it on. Although it looks like this, I get paid for all of these fills. So that's not why I do it, but I feel better about it after telling you that. And then we just got out of Micron. Oh, we got out of Google as well right there. So that's going to be whoops, wrong way. This is going to be a big trade. I got to go. And then so that's that cover. I'm going to cancel all my script orders and just punch out of the Qs. The Qs right now is a 75-cent winner. Let's just get out of that, and then we will live to see another day. That's what that is. Face slap a little bit. Execution count today, 360 fills. And I'm going to go do another 40 minutes. So yeah, all right.
Good luck
I
with
will
that.
see everybody very, very soon. Good luck, Obi, in the close here.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. Always blessing us with his insight and experience in the market. So thank you. I am grateful for that. Again, sitting beside experienced traders and kind of trading and kind of, asking questions and bumping ideas is I think always a very valuable kind of experience, and I'm thankful to have that being here on the floor. But yeah, crazy day today. A little bit of a pullback back into that 17.4, but we're closing near these highs on both the ES and the NQ. Amazon I got up. You know what? I should probably have Apple up too. I will throw that up there. Google's got to get out of there. Google. Oh boy, was that VWAP short a banger, but we'll come back to that one tomorrow. Got to pull up this Apple right here so we have it on lock. So yeah, I think Sean said Apple's going to be reporting a little bit later, but with the bell, we should see Amazon do some crazy moves here. So I will kind of pull it back a little bit, zoom out, just to get ready for the shake and bake. You know, you can see that a lot of these tech earnings, they go pretty crazy right off the earnings there. We are bidding right back through that 159. 159, a little bit of interesting level. I pointed out why as well earlier today, but with only about, I guess, 45 seconds left till a close, I'm curious to know what we're going to be doing. If Amazon reports right away, that'll be beautiful. I'm just going to be sitting back and watching the price action, watching the tape, looking for interesting parties to show up, see what those prices do, and it is what it is. We've already started to catch quite strong of a bid going into the close. That 160 coming in real hot as we're ripping right through 40s, 159 40s. Here come the 50s. Can't really have that, but yeah, craziness on the day. Where is the countdown? I got to get that one ready in about 3 seconds right now. Here we go with the Dara. Thank you. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Oh boy, Amazon. 3, 2, and 1. Thank you, Adara. All right, so let's take a quick look. I'm going to be patiently watching. Let's see what Amazon does right here. Nothing too crazy as of right now. I don't know if it's out yet, but we will know. The tape will be telling when something is definitely out, as it will have a nice little movement, nice little volatility. But you know what? I am done. I'm done for the day. I hope you guys had a great time today. I hope you guys got some value. But without any further ado, I got to pass it off to the big desk with Sean. So don't go anywhere. He's there for the market recap. Take care, guys. See ya.
All right, everybody, thank you for watching the main show, but now we're on the market recap, and we're going to have Danielle Shea coming through, and we have an abundance of earnings, so let's get ready to rock and roll. I've got the earpiece in now, so if there's anything that happens throughout the show, we should be able to have it to you immediately. We're waiting for Amazon, we're waiting for Apple, we're waiting for Meta, and here we go. It's a nice tick up to 160. Amazon's starting to move. Amazon is now out, so we're going to have to wait. It's reporting $1, I think, versus 80 cents. Amazon's starting to go up. 161. Here we go. It's $1 versus 80 cents is what I'm hearing expected. Amazon, nice move, taking out right now all-time highs. Is it all-time highs before I say that? Amazon's starting to go. It's definitely 52-week highs. Not even close. 17. This could happen tomorrow, actually. 185. Amazon starting to go right now on the daily. We talked about this. If you're near the highs, look out for a beat. Amazon has beat. I don't have it out on Benzinga yet, but the numbers are out. Sorry about that. I wish I could show it to you more. But Amazon right now, 163 and change and starting to go. That's a nice move for Amazon. There it is. It's now out on Benzinga. So the gap EPS, there's the $1 that I reported versus 80 cents. Sales, a paltry 170 billion, beating 166 billion. That is a quarterly sales number of $170 billion. That is a monster beat. I mean, it's a beat. It's a monster number. Here we go. This is what we're looking at. Q1 revenue sees 138 to 143 versus 142. So a little bit light on the downside push for Amazon there on what they're seeing for Q1. So Q1 revenue seen a little bit lower there for Amazon, but that's nice. Let's go look at the stock real quick. Get this out of here. I got to still log into my software here so we can see some of what's happening real time. 166.40. Amazon starting to get back up to the upside. Look, Amazon's going to continue to work in this environment, we said. Who's shopping right now? anywhere else, really. I mean, if you're getting luxury goods, maybe, but we and Brendo talk about this on the podcast. Buying your toothpaste, buying whatever you need. You can get it from Amazon. Why wait for them to open up the shelves at Walgreens? Go over to Amazon. Hold on, I have to log in here because I need to get my feels. We're now waiting for Meta. Amazon up to 166. Anything in this number, we'll have it for you immediately. North American sales up 12% year over year. That's better than 11%. The AWS, that's interesting, with their cloud. Here it is, my layout's loading right now. So the cloud right now coming in with a nice 13% boost. So there it goes. It's Amazon is starting to go higher. We will be listening for Meta right now. There it is, Q3. We talked about, Q1 operating income, 8 to 12 billion. I don't know what was expected, but that's what we're seeing. It looks like Amazon will continue to move higher now. Now we wait for Meta. So there goes Amazon 165, taking out 52-week highs. That's going to be a good trade. Now let's look at Meta. What could Meta do? Meta right now, is this a fat finger or does somebody know before it's released? Meta right now up to 400 again. But 400 is not going to be good enough. That high is 404. It's Hydration Nation, baby. Let's take it before Meta comes out. All right, quickly, we're supposed to do something called sector recap. What? Oh my, where's Michael Noss right now? Uranium today with a boost. I have no idea what the story is with that, but uranium up 6%. Hey, what about retail? Retail up today? Wait till you see what happens on Amazon. These are all supposed to be not including the aftermarket. So retail, XRT up today 2.6. Also XHB up today. We talked a little bit about rates. My eyes are still looking. The minute Meta comes out, we'll have that. Look at these interest rate sensitive names today. The housing sector, why, I'm not sure why they're up. Again, I'm guessing Powell kind of just like set the bar for future cuts. There was no denying that the cuts are coming. It's just pushed out. Could potentially not be. Oh, there it is. Meta's now out. Meta is out, I'm hearing. $5.33 for Meta. Oh, damn! There it goes. Meta is up. $5.38, beating $4.96. Meta is off to the races, taking out 52-week highs. Man, we're glad we're long Meta. We talked about that. We said Meta, what was going on with Reels? We knew, I thought TikTok was going to have some downside push, but where is the advertising numbers? That's what we're looking for. Are they better? They were weaker for Google. They could be better for Meta. Meta going to the upside right now. Nice take on Meta. If you're long, congratulations. If you're short, we'll wait. This could pull back. You want to wait for conference calls? Unfortunately, I don't have it on the Benzinga platform yet, but now we're taking out 420. You want to see live Meta? Let's go to a live Meta level 2 right now. Who else going to show you this? Answer, nobody. Hey, but we have to show it. Let's go, Fabian. I just said who's going to show it. Here it is, 421. Meta starting a dividend, Brendan. Meta initiating a dividend right now. That's what I'm hearing in my ear. Meta initiating a dividend. Brendan rolling his eyes, but I'm not doing that. I'm doing this. Let's go. We like that. 423, 422. When you don't know what to do with your cash, put it back to shareholders. Meta going to the upside right now and taking out names. Hey, Meta, what's up with that? Mark Zuckerberg, I guess he's not hiding anymore in that bunker. This is upside. There goes Meta taking out levels. 423, 426. That's the high for Meta. And guess what, baby? We're still going. Oh my God, where's the defibrillator? I might need that in a minute. Meta right now, 421, 426 and going. Hydration Nation, never been more warranted. 50 cents a share, says Brendo. I'll take that. It's not, if I have 3 shares, we can buy a coffee, so that's good. We'll take that dividend from Meta, 50-cent dividend. Thank you for that, Brendo, coming through. Here we go right now. This is it from Benzinga. Hey, better late than never. Okay, right there, 533. We had that in our ear. Verse 495. It's a beat. There it is, Brendo. It's 50 cents a share per quarter. Times 4, that's $2 a year. I'll take it, man. Apple has a small dividend as well. Hey, maybe now it's a value stock, right, Brendan? We can start buying it. You know what? Why don't we talk about that on the podcast, Brendan? I'm writing it down. All right, good job. We're writing that down. That will be tomorrow. No market recap tomorrow. Podcast time. We've got Danielle Shea coming up in just a minute, but it's Meta. Well, not a minute, a couple minutes. Meta right now today, nice move for Meta. A beat on the top and the bottom. They beat sales, they beat EPS. and it's a good one. I don't know what their net income number is actually. We'll have to, well, EPS is up, so it'll be fine. There it goes, man, 426 and still blasting. There was another name that now is foreign to me. It's Amazon. All right, Amazon holding higher as well. Hey, look, wow. Wednesday, meh. You know, well, it was Tuesday night. But Meta tomorrow should spark Friday. Wednesday was a good day to trade. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Amazon up. Obi licking his chops. I don't know if he wants to go short or long on this name, but it's Amazon blasting to the upside, and it is Meta also blasting. 427, 4. Look, Meta is not stopping. They like the dividend. Look, the problem with the dividend, in my opinion, actually there is no problem. It's just sometimes when a company issues a dividend, it's because you're like, well, what else do they have to do with their cash? But I said that earlier as a joke, remember? I was like, well, maybe there'll be a dividend. I don't know what stock it was in reference to, but it's now Meta. Meta 430, Brendo. Oh my gosh. We're going to have to check the old account after this one. And yeah, maybe tonight at the All-Star game there, the All-Star festivities, that $30 beer will taste a little bit better thanks to Meta. Nice move back up to the upside. All right, what else is reporting right now that I'm seeing on here? Gen Digital, who cares? I'm not seeing that much else. Let's see what's moving here. NRBO, Team is moving around. Okay, so Team is a good name there. Altasian, nice move for them to the upside as well, up 14% for Team. Oh, Deckers. They're here as well. Deckers Outdoor continues to blast up. That's up 9% on earnings as well. Meta up 10. Deckers up 10. CCTG, I have no idea what that is, but this is not a name you want to be in. Oh, damn. Meta in my ear announcing a $50 billion $50 billion buyback right now. Shout out to Mike Myers. Big buyback right now for Meta, and it's blasting higher. $50 billion buyback for Meta. So wow, I've not, honestly, this quarter up 10 for Meta. I mean, look where Meta is on the weekly. Clorox is now out. CLX is now out. Bang, $2.16 versus $1.10. Clorox upside. Uh-oh, back down. Who cares about Clorox? It's Meta right now going back up and taking Meta, Brendo, 435. I honestly am speechless right now. It's Meta and it's no what? This is it on the weekly chart. Meta right now saying all-time highs. That's a nice story. 435 and gone for Meta. 436 and still printing. Thank you to everybody who's watching. Right now we have record viewers. I made that up. I haven't looked. But if we do not, then that's a problem. This is a monster move back up to the upside. Meta still going 438. Sector recap. UNG down 3.7. KRE down 3. USO down 2.6. But if you're putting oil or gas, don't put oil, gas in your car, as long as you own Meta, what does that even matter? It is still making moves to the upside. 438, 440 for Meta. If I had more information on this, I would tell you. Meta right now, Facebook, daily active users. Oh my gosh. How many people? I need someone to Google what the world's population is immediately. 2.1 billion people are actively using Meta platforms daily. 2.1 billion people. How many people? 7 billion? 4.8 in the world? 7. That's what I thought, 7. I was going to say, if half are using Instagram, then okay, maybe we have a little bit of a bigger problem than I thought. But there it is right now, Meta. Huge move to the upside. Daily active users up 6%. There's the quarterly dividend of 50 cents per share. I'm also hearing in my ear, it is now $442 as Meta is going upside. I hope Danielle Shea had calls. 441 and still ripping. I'm trying to load up this after show so I can see how many people are here with us. We have over 4,400 people watching. Let's go. Who's here with me right now? Who's long Meta right now? Let's load up. Come on, chat, load up. Once it does, gonna pick up on the pullback. What pullback, Ryan? Meta right now, $440. Brendan, you own Meta shares? Nope. Okay, $440. Meta still running. 440. But we've got NASDAQ. I know he's got the XLK. He's probably got Meta. Be quiet, Brendan. All right, nice move up. Tesla limping. Who cares? Who's here right now? It's another roll call. Paulie D's here. Fitz Jane is here. David Kovacs is here. CompuCare team is here. Fighter Comeback is here. Gabe is here. Man, this is a big show. We'll attend this afterwards. I just want to thank everybody for rocking with the best. There it is. Corsair's out as well, man. There's a lot of things popping right now. Wow, what a day. Is Pinterest? Did Pinterest even report? Pinterest today. No, that would be on Facebook, so that would make sense. So Facebook, let's go check out Etsy right now as well. A little bit of a climb for Etsy, a bigger climb for Pinterest. To me, it's the daily active users. Oh, damn. You know what? How's my Snapchat doing? Hello. We actually got out of Snapchat in and around $17, some of it, but there's a nice bump up for Snapchat as well. Getting some of that love from Meta. Miss Shay, if you are in the building, we're going to be talking about some Meta. Look at Amazon. Amazon up here, 165, still trying to go. Over 4,500 of you watching. This is a record. It's not for me. We're going to be calling up on Danielle very, very quickly. We'll talk all about options. She nailed the Tesla short. Tesla, again, a little weak, obviously off earnings, but a nice bounce back in Tesla over the last little while. We still wait for Apple. So, all right, what's good for Apple? Apple up to 187.50 right now. A nice upside push for Apple. If we're going to look at a weekly chart, I didn't think Meta had 10% in it. Does Apple have 10% in it? We already know that the Vision Pro demand is through the roof, even at $3,500. That's crazy. Will they be able to meet that demand? That's another question. Will it be in the numbers? That's another question. What's going on with the watch? I got my wife the newest one with the oxygen because we're in Canada and that band doesn't persist a year. So that's pretty cool. She shows me the blood oxygen count all the time. I don't know why. I guess trying to make fun of me. I have the SE. But Apple, we'll hear about that. We'll hear about wearables. We'll hear about services from Apple. That's what we're excited about. I expect iPhone shipment to be there. Hey, what if Apple talks about AI and a potential new AI gimmick with Siri? Then we're going to be like, AI? What if Randy shows up on this show? I'm leaving immediately, by the way, on that one. All right, that's Apple. We'll wait for that. Amazon, that didn't just happen. Trust on that. Let's go look at a live level 2 on Meta. Here it is right here. This is live Meta trading. Straight up, 440 for Meta, all-time highs. Taking that out, man. I remember when Meta had a 13 PE. We loaded the boat down there near $100. It is well up. I think it's inappropriate to not take something out, but this is a big move up. Congratulations, anybody on Meta. We'll wait to hear what comes next. All right, IWM with a nice day today. The small caps are back in play. Despite us getting that negative news about rates, it's small caps back in. All right, that's it. What else is out right now? Just quickly, I assume Danielle's going to be ready in just a minute. She is ready. Okay, Beazer Homes, downside. We haven't seen that in a minute. Meta, wow, 442. Meta right now taking out highs again. What's going to slow this down? Everyone likes to trade Minim. Minim not doing anything. I don't know why that showed up. Gen, what is that right now? Gen Digital, downside on earnings as well. But no one cares. Is SKX, is that Skechers? Yes, it is. Who's wearing Skechers now? You are? I was going to say hit that okay boomer part, but if Fabian is, he's a young guy. So what? They're comfortable. I got on and bought one of my, I know they're great actually. Skechers actually, shout out to that, man. Skechers really working right now. I mean, it's down right now to 52 and change, pulling all the way back to the 50-period moving average. But look at this weekly, man. Skechers really working out. I liked Nike for a call. I'm wearing my Air Force Ones right now. Thank you so much, customized from my family. I like Nike, but hey, I just like the style, maybe not the stock, but we like the stock around that $100 mark. Let's check out Disney before I call in on Danielle, because we like Disney. We had Brian Shannon on the other day. I asked him, I said, look, I'm long Disney 90. I really like the way this looks. Let's see if Disney can continue to go up. And right now, there goes Disney breaking through. I really like this level for Disney. All right, it's almost time. Apple's going to be out hopefully soon. should be out around 4:30. Amazon, before we call, Amazon, nice move, still, ignore this, still at 165 and change. I still call up Apple, I don't know why. Meta, META is, what a surprise, still hovering high, man. 442, there's the little tick up there. We're on an island, baby, with Meta right now. It's a great one. If she's ready, I'm ready. Then let's go. Okay, Miss Danielle Shea. Wow, what a report there from Meta. I'm not sure what side you were on in this one. Nice fire, by the way. I always got to make some comments about that. You got a new hairstyle there. It's a little bit. What do you call that there?
This is called a little bit on the wild side.
Wild side. Hey, I like that one, man. I like that one. And we've had some wild earnings as well come through. Did you see anything on Meta? What was going on with Meta? It was obviously a monstrous move there, up to 440, taking out all-time highs. I didn't have that. The implied move was 6%. What were you looking at? You got a straddle or anything you want to talk about?
So when you look at Meta with this one, I mean, I think the best thing to do is trade it after earnings, because on the expected move over earnings, it was 22 bucks. Okay. So if you take a look at this chart, expected move was $22. If you look at the moves that it's had, the moves that it's had have been substantially more than the percentage that was expected. So with this one, I was looking for a big outsized move. I was hinting to the upside, but I wasn't sure. So I decided to wait until after the report to trade it. Now, what I can tell you for tomorrow that's exciting about this stock is that because the expected move was 22 bucks, and right now it's up, let's see, a lot more than 22 bucks, right?
It's up 40, 45.
Yeah, so that's more than twice the expected
50,
move. So when that occurs, that makes for a great post-earnings day trade. That's exactly what I was looking for. That means tomorrow, first thing, if this one gaps up on high volume, that's generally one that you can run with.
All right, so we're still thinking long. I mean, even though we're up this much, tomorrow breaking all these levels, we're still thinking long. I mean, 6% daily active user increase, which is absolutely amazing. I don't know if you heard the number, 2.11 billion daily active users. Like, are you kidding me? What are we even talking about right here? You like the continuation play into tomorrow.
So, I know it's crazy, and, you definitely have to watch the price action, especially the volume at the market open. But that's the way that I trade it. That's the way that I do the setup. I look at that expected move, and if it's 1.5 to 2 times the expected move, which in this case definitely qualifies, especially if it's at a new all-time high, you just have blue sky territory, and you have people just dying to get in there. So, I do not come in and buy the stock at that level. I want to make that clear. But for a day trade for a couple days, I mean, just look at what SMCI has done. Typically, it has pretty good momentum for about 2 to 6 days post earnings.
Okay. All right. So we'll just see if we can keep that momentum going tomorrow. Sticky note. Hopefully, we'll have some nice long levels there for Meta. Congratulations, you nailed Tesla. We talked about that. You've been on the show since then. We also have that $47 product of yours that we keep talking about as well. I think people should go check that out if they want to get a little bit more education about what you're doing. It's Miss Danielle Shea. Okay, JP Morgan continues to work. The banks are really strong. Is there anything here that you might want to talk about for Apple coming out today, or some sort of new ideas that you want to bring the viewers? Because right now we're on a record amount, and we're all on pins and needles here with Apple coming in roughly 8 minutes.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, with Apple, what I did with it is I just sold a neutral iron condor. So, I mean, Apple doesn't typically move too much. I mean, it's not like Meta, right?
Right.
So, I mean, I know it's a little bit late to talk about it. I did sell the neutral iron condor. You wouldn't be able to do that now, but I think tomorrow.
Danielle, can you explain, Danielle, not to interrupt you, but can you explain the iron condor, what that position would look like?
Yeah, sure. So I can go ahead and show you. So basically what I do is, again, I go back to what the expected move is. The expected move is $6.30 in Apple. If you take that and you create that into a percentage, you're going to see, and you're going to be able to compare what it's done in the past. So in the past, it's moved anywhere between 3 and 6%. So you can see that that's pretty much in line with what it normally does. So in the options market, if you think that the expected move is about accurate with what the stock normally does,
right,
you can just sell the at the money calls and puts. So, I mean, what that does is it just creates a trade where and this is the way that I did it on here. is I sold the 185 calls, and then I bought the 195 calls for protection.
Okay.
And then I sold the 185 puts, and I bought the 177 puts for protection. So I did that for a credit of $5.31.
All right.
You're taking a credit into your account, and then ideally what will happen is Apple, it may trade a little bit higher, may trade a little bit lower, it may do both, but then those options that I sold for $5.31, you know, hopefully tomorrow I can buy it back for maybe $3.75, make $2 overnight, if Apple stays within inside of that range.
All right, so that's what you're talking about. You will close that position tomorrow, or you'll just see how it trades. Is that a definite closeout tomorrow?
It's a definite closeout tomorrow because the options are going to be in the money. So you can't leave them to expire in the money tomorrow. They're going to expire tomorrow either way. So yeah, sell them today, buy them back tomorrow. And then, you know, depending on which way it goes, we may be able to trade it up into resistance at 195, may be able to trade it down into support at 180. So we'll have to see what that does. I did also put a few more butterflies on it as well at a 180 price target and 195 just for a little bit of a lotto trade. But you know, I'm watching that move. I think you're gonna like these. I know you guys are probably buying the dips on earnings. Have you been buying the dip on Microsoft or AMD?
Don't even start with me. No, but okay, I actually want to talk to you about this. Like, is it a dip if we're talking about day two? I mean, like, I kind of have a 3-day rule with some of these, and that is like, once you come out with the report yesterday with Microsoft, sure, it goes down 4 or 5%, whatever, and it almost made it all back today, so that would have been a great dip buy opportunity. But I just felt like it was a little bit foolish to step into big tech names, especially when we had these 3 reporting today. So it's like, if Apple's disastrous, which I don't think it's going to be, like you mentioned, I'm not sure where we're going to go with Apple, but if Meta had missed and was down the other way, then I feel like there could have been some negative talk there as far as the whole sector. But you brought up a very good point about buying dips right there, because what's that put call ratio look like? You said it was offside to the puts, which obviously means this squeeze right here on Meta could continue with the NASDAQ. Is that something that we're maybe getting at here?
I mean, so I think you're completely right. And that was my thought as well when I was looking at buying the dip post earnings on both Microsoft and AMD. I thought, man, you know, if Amazon and Meta are bad today, then that's not going to be a great trade. I did have a small hedge in the QQQs for that reason. But now that these earnings are out, even just with Meta and Amazon doing so well, I think the trades on AMD and Microsoft are perfect. So, you know, I also look at the stats and say, all right, what does Microsoft normally do after earnings? If you look at Microsoft over the course of the last 12 quarters, I mean, almost every single quarter, this stock will have earnings and rally. 2 quarters ago, you know, no, it didn't. That was a rare time where it sold off, but more often than not, this thing will rally after earnings. You know, it came back into pretty key support zone at 395. So, you know, I like that one. And I did start buying AMD right before the close. People in our trading room were buying NVIDIA. That's so extended, but hey, you know, NVIDIA to 650. So I think, you know, buying some AMD, buying some Microsoft, especially with the way that Amazon and Meta have played out, are probably going to work really well tomorrow.
The thing about buying AMD versus NVIDIA, I'm not sure how much you look at this kind of stuff, but we've had this here. Put my chart up here right now. We'll have a look here. This is the valuation of the two, AMD versus NVIDIA. And I mean, if we're going to look right here, AMD is almost 50% richer than NVIDIA right now if we're going to use the forward PE, right? And so AMD's up here into the 40s and NVIDIA back down here near 2750. So regardless of what's going on right there, you got to be in the name. And that's why I'm looking, honestly, Danielle, at something just simply the SMH. Get a little bit of everything in there. Get some NVIDIA, get some Intel, get some AMD, play ETFs on pullbacks, because NVIDIA is still a couple weeks away, I believe. Hold on a second. NVDA's earnings for you, February 21st. So I know you like to make some plays heading into earnings. Maybe we're getting in there right now. And by the way, happy February. Where the heck did January go?
Oh, man, I know. And I do look at the PE ratio, especially if I'm going to be buying stock. And that's why I said, I definitely would not buy the long-term stock here at these levels. It just is way too far gone.
Okay.
But as far as trading options, I mean, that's exactly what you want. You want the stocks that have these high momentum and that everybody is chasing, because what it does is it just creates this expansion and implied volatility. Obviously it makes the options move. And if you're on the right side of it, then you can benefit from that. I will tell traders, of course, yes, you have to be careful. And when you're chasing these moves that have just gone crazy, there's going to come a day and there's going to come a point where we're going to see a market pullback. So if and when that happens, make sure you get out and don't over leverage yourself. But right now, everything's pretty strong. Typically, the first half of February can still be strong until we get that post-earnings pullback. So I am, waiting for that post-earnings pullback. But with the reports we saw today, so far, so good.
Meta is off to the races, man. Danielle printing 446 right now. Man, are we off here? Up now 14%. You're almost going to get 3x. The implied move was 6.3%. You're now up 14.5% here. I'm just going to call up Apple so that we can see that live. All right, just real quick, I'll give you a second. Let's talk about Tesla really quickly here. Apple right now 188. I'll give you a second to load up your screen. Come over to mine, Fabian. Quickly. So I bought 186 down here. I feel like just my simple mind sees some kind of support down into 170, possibly with a doomsday price. Maybe, I mean, this is not doomsday. Doomsday would be a lot lower, but into the 150s maybe. There was some story that I didn't understand about some compensation, possibly also moving from Delaware into Texas there to get that all figured out. I don't know. But for right now, what are we doing with Tesla? Are you happy with some of the support that we're seeing here?
I can't say I've been very happy with the way that Tesla has been trading, and I have been looking for support. I think that 180 zone is going to have to be it. If that 180 zone doesn't hold, I mean, you're, like you said, you're looking at like 165. So, and beyond that, I mean, we just are really running out of support zones to use. As you can see, these levels drawn on my chart, the price has broken them. So anytime you have price breaking support, that generally leads to more downside. I will say that, from a day trading perspective, it has started to shift lower off of the 180 price point. So we're seeing some signs of life. I wouldn't say that it's quite ready for a swing trade, but I am eyeing it. And once we get a little bit better of a bounce, and I might be able to trade it up into about 195, maybe 200.
Danielle, Apple's out. Apple's out right now. Apple goes all the way up to 192. You may have nailed this one again, Danielle. Apple not moving that much. Let's see what this number comes out with right here. So Apple, will watch it right here. If you're watching this, I will talk about the story right now. Apple Q1 sales, a beat on the sales side. We knew that was going to happen for sure. We talked about all of that. Let's see where the sales revenue or the service revenue is coming in. iPhone, just a paltry 69.7 billion. Versus what? Oh, prior 43. Okay, so here's the number right now. Mac sales higher. iPhone net sales looks to be higher. Q1 EPS 218 versus 210. That's a beat. That looks better than expected. Sales 119 versus 117. Everything looks okay. 2% beat right there. Apple iPad sales much bigger. I bought my kids new iPads. Maybe you bought yours. Nice move up 7.78%. But look what Apple's doing. It's actually going the other way. We'll wait to hear, Danielle, what's going on with the guide. But right now, Apple back into 185 right now. You got to send it to the work one. But right now, 186. Oh, China. Sorry, I thought Brendan said chat. China sales maybe a little bit lower, potentially as expected. Looks like Apple's kind of doing the dance back into 185. Nothing too crazy here, Danielle.
Perfect. I mean, that's exactly what you want to see when you sell that neutral premium like that. I mean, I work on trying to pick out tickers that I just don't think are going to move very much. I use the strategy on Microsoft, use the strategy on Starbucks, use the strategy on AMD as well. I did lose money on it when I did it on Peloton today, so that happens. But so far so good. Especially when you're an options trader, you have to take advantage of those moments in time where you can come in and sell that juicy premium. So I don't want to, get too excited about it just yet because it's just the beginning. But
gotta wait for the conference call. We gotta figure this all out. But so far, so good, not bad.
Yep.
Right there. All right, it's 4:32. You stayed. Thank you for being a trooper. It's Miss Danielle Shea. You can find her at Simpler Trading and on our show quite frequently as well. So thank you for coming through. And let's see if Apple can just hold the line here.
That's right. Good to see you.
Ciao, Danielle. Have a great evening. That's Trader Talk. All right. All right. We still have a few things to do, but I got to get out of here momentarily anyways. We had a really good sticky note today, and it's just ridiculous that I didn't even have some of the trades on there, but we did have some good trades off the sticky note. Let me just show that to you. The sticky note is something that I put together every single morning. We come in, we look at the charts, and it actually derives from our watch list. So make sure you go grab that watchlist.tradertv.live, 100% free resource that if you're not subscribing to it, then you're not friends with me. That's just a joke. Everyone's a friend of me, hopefully. Frenemy, did I just say? Wait a second. But anyways, make sure you sign up for that. That's where we get it all from. But look at this Tesla 184 long. We could talk about that real quick. This was a trade that we had, and I just wish we would have had more. There goes Apple right now is falling into 183. So we'll see where that holds out right now. Here's the 184 long on Tesla. I mean, this is why we do this here. Let me put this sticky note over here. Maybe that way we can all sort of see it together. Right there. Okay. So there's the long on Tesla 184. Here's the 184. I mean, that's the long. We got some out at 186 right there. And then unfortunately, it looked like it was breaking down below the 50 period. So we got out and we did not have a $5 winner, but it's a banger anyways. Then we wrote down MSFT. You could see on here, a 405 short sell for Microsoft. Maybe you can't see that. Maybe I'll just bring this upside a little bit more. So that trade right there on Microsoft, 405. Well, I lost on Microsoft here today. Here to tell you that. We shorted bad up here at 407. It broke to 408. Should have held on to it. But this is 405 right here. 405 break short right there. That gave you $3. This is 405. That's 405. That's 405. Many good trades on those levels. And then my number one trade today was Micron, but the second best play I had all day was this. See, these wicks are horrible. But it was Google right there, 143 short. We really banged out on Google, and unfortunately, these wicks will hit me every single time. That's what we're doing here today. Instead of Sean's tweets, an interesting thing to talk about here would be this. This is the March rate cut expectation, and right now no cut, 62.5%. If you're going to take anything from the show, take this: real traders stay late. We just had we're wrapping this thing up, Fabian. We just had Danielle Shea come on. I want to thank you to her for coming through, man. She gave us a lot of great trades for Tesla. She just broke down that Apple trade, and that looks to be good. She talked about potentially having Meta continue with that move tomorrow, but we're not going anywhere until we check back. So right now, Apple, right here, down. That's okay. Come over here. We'll just do a quick rundown of the three big trades today. It's Apple downside. Apple reports worse than expected China numbers, but everything else seems to be fine. Down through 183. We'll see if China and Apple can hold fort at 180. We had a monster move on Meta. Meta just, oh my gosh, 451. 451 on Meta. Meta now up 16%. These are moves that happen in the year. Meta up 16 points, not 16 points, 16%. And Amazon saying, let's go higher as well. We fly high, no lie, and you know this. It's Amazon and it's Meta, and the fun continues tomorrow. Find me here every single day. Unless I'm sick, but even then I've been known to come in, which I'm not going to do anymore. Every single day, we'll be live at 8:30. We have the podcast tomorrow. We're going to be trading earnings. Neil may not be in. We have Obi covering. We have Brendan. We've got Adara. We've got Sharif. We've got Kat. We've got Fabian. We've got Ramin. It's your Trader TV Live team, and we're back tomorrow at 8:30. Make sure you check us then. Thank you for watching. I'm headed to the NHL event with the family. Should be a lot of fun. I hope you have a great evening as well. More water for this guy, and I'll see everybody tomorrow. Ciao.